What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 35. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Ryan Manjoma.
Hey guys, what's up?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, people.
Brett Murdoch.
Hey, what's up? I made it. Woo!
Rachel Murdoch.
Woo, I also made it.
And the returning one, Emilio Lopez.
Do you like my sunglasses?
Yes.
How did you get those? I was just talking to you and you didn't have those. I swear to God, you set this shit up before the show.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah, I do. I had them sitting on the table. I was like, well, I got.
He's got like 5 or 6 awesome. He's like, all right, I've got 2 Metal Gear things lined up, something I've drawn, a cool toy, and something awesome to wear. It's Throwdown time.
There's always something on my table, on my desk.
That's why he always has props.
I always like, look, this.
Yeah,
Like,
see?
That's, yeah, I have that. I have a bunch of other shit on here. So, if you guys see the other side of this is just a mess of things on my desks.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we start, I forgot. Tonight's Throwdown is sponsored by Scholl's Pale Ale, brought to you by the Smutty Nose Company. I'm not making this up.
The Smutty Nose Company?
Yeah, the Smutty Nose Brewing Company.
All right.
All right.
wow.
So a quick shout out again to CJ Betancourt, who joined us on the last episode of Throwdown. That was really fun. We'll probably have him on again. He did a good job of filling up all the space and stuff because we had missing people last week. One of those was Manny. And Manny, where were you last week? What was going on?
I went to Disney World.
You crazy, man. You crazy. What you do?
You know, just did the usual things there, did touristy things. I went to downtown Disney. You know, walked around there for a little bit. We went over to, Disney World, I think on Sunday. We just kind of just lazed around. Then, went to the pool and stuff. I went to, Disney World is, of course, very kid-oriented, but I kind of wanted to see it again. You know, it's been a while since we've been.
Yeah, that'd be Rachel repellent all over. That
Yeah, it's... See, that's it's funny. If you ever look at the pricing for Disney, the Disney resort, not the Disney resorts, but the Disney parks, but there's a very big difference between Disney World, the Hollywood Studios, or what used to be called the MGM Studio, and the actual Disney World park. Like, there's a really big difference between prices. Like, you can spend like $100 and something just to get into the damn place, and if you want to get, like, that's just for Disney World alone. Then, if you want a park hopper, thing, which is essentially in the same day or whatever, you can keep jumping to all the different parks. That's another like $50 or $100 on top of that. So it can be expensive going there. Then not the, but yeah, I went on a couple rides. I went on the classic rides. I went on the Jungle Cruise because for some reason I have never been on the Jungle Cruise before.
What?
Yes, I've never been. All the times that I've been there, I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times in my lifetime, and I've never gone on the Jungle Cruise. So it was, I got to get on that ride. We went in
Small World.
Oh no, we didn't. But they did redesign the front of It's a Small World, so it doesn't look like it's just in an alleyway anymore. It kind of had a really cheesy looking front from what I remember, so they made it nicer.
Yeah, it looked like you had to kind of know somebody to get into it, and you're like, and then you get into like, how big is this thing?
Yeah, they gave it a kind of a fancy castle cover, front in front of it. They got rid of what was the what do they call it? The Mickey's Toontown. There used to be an area called Mickey's Toontown, and everything used to look all goofy and toony and stuff. And they replaced it, and they actually expanded Fantasyland. So Fantasyland now runs all the way behind the I think Cinderella's castle. So now they put like some new rides back there. They put like there's an aerial ride. I don't know what it was. And then there's this Snow White and yeah, like aerial Little Mermaid ride. And then there's this what is it? The Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs ride, which is a roller coaster. You get like into a minecart and go through the whole place. But it was really cool. One thing is just to say, the wait on that line was like 40 minutes or more. It's crazy.
Did you go on the new Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes, I've been on that one before.
Well, I know. I remember the old classic ride, and then I heard that they revamped it. How is it compared to the old one?
It's pretty much the same. But at certain points, they added Jack Sparrow.
Oh.
So like as opposed to like in the beginning, the first Pirates of the Caribbean-ish thing you get is it also changes depending on when you go in there. But you see like this hologram of was it Blackbeard, and he tells you like dead men tell no tales, and he does all this fun stuff. But then sometimes it's Davy Jones, so it switches between Blackbeard and Davy Jones at the beginning of the ride, and it's this goofy hologram thing. Then when you first get in, it's that big pirate battle that's in that big open space.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a random pirate, now it's Barbossa.
Okay.
Not a big deal. He's just like saying the same lines, get them, shoot the blah, 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 that stuff. Then it goes to the whole big thing, when you're going through the whole, the pirate town, and in specific places you see Jack Sparrow. Like there's one part where they're like, we need to find Jack Sparrow, and then like they're trying to dunk some guy, and then you see kind of Jack Sparrow peeking out in a corner somewhere. Then there's another part where this guy's like talking about his gold, and then Jack Sparrow's kind of popping out of a barrel that's behind him. So he's not in it a lot.
He's not intrusive.
No, he's not intrusive. They just made him like another piece of it. And then at the end, the biggest thing is that there's this treasure room, and now they actually they put a full-on audio animatronic of Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, like sitting on on a throne or something. Like he's like singing along with the pirate's life song. Okay. So you hear the pirate song from one of the other areas, and he's going with it, yo ho, a pirate's life for me, like that. So it's like it's not bad, but it's people would have really complained if it was really intrusive, kind of like what they did. There was one of the other rides that they kind of really fucked around with and changed, like the Tiki Room. Years ago, there was a change that they did to that where they put Iago and Zazu from The Lion King in it, and people got all up in arms about that. So, yeah, it's good. We went in the Tiki Room. We went to, the Jungle Cruise. For the hell of it, I wanted to see the Swiss Family Robinson tree, even though nobody remembers that movie. What was the other ride we got? Oh, we got in Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion has also been updated, but not like they didn't put Eddie Murphy in it or anything like that.
Thank God.
They just updated some of the stuff in it. One thing they did to Pirates of the Caribbean that might anger people is that you remember at some point there's these. It looks like these pirates that are chasing women around.
Yeah.
Well, they switched it around where like only one pirate is chasing a woman around, and then the rest of them are like the women chasing the pirates around with like brooms.
Aw.
So yeah, they changed that. And then there's another portion. I think he was hanging out with these Jack Sparrow's kind of hanging out with these sexy ladies, and this was from the last time that I saw it. But now they're like these weird mannequins that are standing around him. When he was kind of like standing next to these kind of sexy looking pirate women, but now I guess they switched them into these weird mannequin things. I don't know why they did that.
Political correctness.
So yeah, that was the only things that they kind of switched around. But other than that, it was good. I liked it.
So yeah, it sounds like you had fun.
Yeah, I had a good time. I mean, most of the time I spent in the pool. I spent some time at the pool.
Yo, man, it's hot.
Yeah, it was hot, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, you were at the. I feel like at least in May and April is kind of the golden time of Florida, where it's not so hot where it'll kill you, but it's hot enough where it's like, okay, that's cool. At least from when I was there, it was pretty nice. It wasn't super sweltering hot, and it didn't rain all the damn time, or it didn't do any of those anytime it would rain, it'd be like when we were sleeping, so everything would be a little wet in the morning. But yeah, it wound up being really good.
Awesome.
Fun little gaming thing. I don't have it here with me. I didn't prepare it, but I bought the Disney parks don't actually represent any of the Kingdom Hearts stuff. It's very rare. Like you can't find any Kingdom Hearts T-shirts or anything like that. But when I walked into one of those stupid pin collecting places, I actually literally found a pin of Mickey Mouse from Kingdom Hearts, like the kind of hooded version of him. I'm like,
that's pretty cool.
I bought it just because it was that. I'm like, where are you gonna find that? You're not gonna find any of those in here. So I thought that was pretty cool.
You found a treasure.
Yeah, I found a little treasure.
that you had to pay for.
It happens.
Oh man! All right, let's get started because we got a busy show. A lot of shit happened.
Busy.
Very much a contrast to the last couple of weeks where nothing's been fucking happening. A lot of shit happened. Too much shit.
Yo, man, I come back and the world has come to an end or beginning.
The world explodes. All right, so the main story here is the success of Bloodstained. This was, stop me if you heard this before. Legendary Japanese creator wants to make a certain type of game. The company that he works for doesn't want to make it, so he leaves, goes on Kickstarter, and makes the type of game everybody wants them to make.
Mm-hmm.
No surprise. It's very much like Castlevania. Even the promo he did at the video and stuff. He was
Dude,
like,
the name, even the name of it.
Ritual of the Night.
Ritual of the Night.
Yeah, and I love how he coined the phrase "Igavania." It's like this is the art, this is the style I do. These are the type of games I do, and obviously everybody was happy about that. The thing got funded, like the main one was $500,000, got funded in like 4 hours. Less than 11 hours, they got $1 million, and then like a couple of days later, it was like at $2 million. It's fucking crazy. It met every single stretch goal, and I think they're adding more.
I really like this this trend of them not coming out and asking for a shit ton of money, like them asking for the bare minimum to make the game happen. Like $500,000 even sounds like a decent amount of money, but for what they're intending to do, that is, skeleton crew, bare bones. So, they know full and well that they're like, man, $1.5 million would be great, but they're not coming out and asking for it in a lot of these games.
Yeah, here's one thing people need to keep in mind, because they thought, that was the entire budget. No, that $500,000 was just to prove to the investors that are putting in 90% of it that, hey, people want this. So if the original one was $500,000, right, or $500,000 out of night, that was supposed to be 10%. So he already got close to $5 million already from investors, but they just needed more proof, assurance that the fans wanted, and they got it. Because remember, making a game, you can't make a game for less than $1 million, a good one at least nowadays.
Yeah,
you got to pump in a bunch of money. So now they got $500,000 and more. I mean, I forgot what it was last at, but I know it's past the $2 million mark. So $2 million plus the $5 million. So it's getting a good amount of money. I wouldn't be surprised if a Deep Silver situation happens where a bigger studio is like, hey, we'll distribute this for you.
I also want to point out, I'm not sure if I mentioned this on Throwdown, but I was talking about it all the time. Conman was not only successfully funded, but wildly overfunded. Did I tell you guys what Conman was?
What's Conman?
It's from, what's the guy's name from Firefly? The pilot? Alan Tudyk. It's Alan Tudyk basically doing a spoof show of a sci-fi series and its actors that were canceled after one season and now go around doing the convention circuit. So
that's fun.
It's kind of a very
semi-autobiographical.
Yeah, it's a very meta look on what happened in Firefly, and it's going to contain, I think, just about all of the cast members from Firefly.
Is it going to be like an online series?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, the main reason I want to bring this up is because, like, it just goes to show us, like, these guys are at their companies, and they're known for making specific games. Keiji Inafune among them. And lately we heard about I forget the name, Ukulele, the guys who made Banjo-Kazooie. Yep. Same thing. People are like, hey, we're gonna make a game that's like Banjo-Kazooie. Here's our money. Hey, I'm gonna make a game that's like Mega Man. Here's our money. So
I think also it's like it's about when you have big studios like that, it's like proving to them that what you're doing is good. Officially there hasn't been a real sequel to Banjo-Kazooie at all. Like a
good one.
There was bad ones.
There was Banjo-Tooie, and then there was Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah, Banjo shitty.
Yeah. So
nobody like that.
So it's definitely I think it's definitely proving that there is an audience out there, and they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, but remember you and I were talking about it. You got to see it from the other side too. The games kind of aren't out for a reason. Like people weren't liking the last Castlevania games, even the 2D ones.
I mean, it was Igarashi.
Yeah, Igarashi. Yeah.
Yeah, like the last few Castlevania games, nobody cared about those things. I mean, like that fighting game. Did anybody buy that Castlevania fighting game?
Chris, did you buy that, man?
Oh, Judgment? No. Oh God, no.
Yeah, Judgment. Yeah, Castle. That was them. That was Konami saying to him, "Oh, hey, we'll see what you can do. If this does good, we'll give you more." And they obviously didn't do well, so they just pulled Castlevania away from him. And the reason why he left, and it's because they gave him the window seat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
But like Mercury's team did any better, right?
Yeah, that was
Mercury's team.
You hated Lords of Shadow.
The thing about Lords of Shadow is like, yeah, that wasn't a good game. And on the other side of it, the only reason why anybody gave a shit about it, and let's be honest, is because they stuck Hideo Kojima's name on the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another guy
I
who's
did
gone.
enjoy the second one.
The second one? Really?
I enjoyed it. I didn't say that it was good. I
You
enjoyed
like sneaking missions.
You enjoyed it. The first one was more enjoyable. That was a terrible game too.
I
So
never
you
played
like
the
you
first
like you like the part where you're Dracula, this all powerful creature that has to hide from these monsters that he can't kill for some fucking reason.
And that's not that I like those parts. I'm saying that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed certain aspects of it. I liked how you had to use your weapons to level them up. I felt that was more natural than just you get blood and that's what you
Instead of
blood.
catching
It seems a bit
orbs in
weird.
the air
You
or
know,
collecting blood.
It just felt like a bit like more natural. It's like, oh, you actually make sense now. Like the more you use them, the more experience you get with them. So the more you unlock, it makes more sense that way. But yeah,
but that's like
that
one
part
good
was
thing
done.
out of like a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of shitty things.
Exactly. That's what I said. That I enjoyed I enjoyed it.
Hey Brian, did you play the Wolverine game by any chance?
I love that game. That
Okay,
was awesome.
because that game does something similar that I liked. I'm like, hey, if you kill enough of one type of enemy, you will fuck them up. Why don't games do that? It's like, hey, here's some blood, fill it up, and now you got a harder weapon. It's like, what? How about I just kill the same shit, and then when I fight it again, it will be easier because I have experience now.
Exactly.
I
But
like
yeah,
that.
the whole thing with the enemies that you couldn't fight thing was like really dumb. The whole thing about Dracula and the death thing was pretty dumb. It's like he wanted to die, but then when you did die in game, you had to restart. It's like, why? He wants to die.
Yeah, it's like, let him die. Fucking stupid. Here's the thing about the stealth segments. I gotta bring it, and I'm derailing it, but I don't care.
Rats.
Okay, basically, when you first start off the game, it made sense. You are not very powerful. Later on in the game, if I just killed a 500-foot tall dragon thing, these little assholes shouldn't be a problem. It's stupid. But anyway, yeah, Konami wasn't
Don't
giving
you fight Satan at the end of that movie? Or the game?
You fight Satan in the first game.
In the first game, yeah.
Yeah.
So then who did you fight in the second one? I'm pretty sure it was like Satan's son or something stupid like that.
This is a game. It was.
You like that game so much you didn't even remember the final boss?
Well,
He
the final
enjoyed
boss
it.
just
He enjoyed
happened.
it. He enjoyed it.
Was it Inner Dracula?
Enjoyed
Was it like the demon of the castle or something, right?
It was. See, but my point. And I'm actually glad you're bringing it back. This is why people gave money to Bloodstained, because look at the shit we've had for Castlevania games, man. Fuck Lords of Shadow.
I mean,
but, the thing is, but let's be honest though, people are giving this guy money because they remember Symphony of the Night.
I didn't remember.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
I want them to team up with From Software and make a true Castlevania remake.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, Bloodborne's Castlevania. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, it's
Do you like
not in a great
Bloodborne?
way. But imagine if From Software actually took some of the Symphony of the Night team and brought them in, and they're like made a legitimate Castlevania game. You would pre-order that shit right now.
Of course, but I think we're gonna get a legitimate Castlevania game. It just won't be called Castlevania. Just like we're getting a legitimate Mega Man game. It just won't be called Mega Man.
Yeah, I mean, you notice what's going on in Japan. Literally, these guys are they can't even make the games that you know and love from them anymore because they're so into themselves right now. The Japanese, a lot of the executives over there, these old guys who don't understand this shit, and they're just making all the wrong mistakes. We're going to be talking a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about that big time, a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this problem just in Japan?
The Japanese are not as, I don't know what the word is, but they're not as, I guess, progressive as the Westerners. Westerners kind of listen to their fan base a little bit more. Japanese are like, no, we know what we're doing. They don't listen to this shit, man.
It's proven. You can see it just by looking at the way Nintendo handles things, where they just kind of put things out and they expect you to want it. as opposed to having that little bit of interaction with people. I mean, of course, you can't take every single idea. Not every single idea is a good idea, but that doesn't mean you can't listen a little bit to what the problems are.
Yeah, they don't
You
listen.
mock your fans.
Yeah, that's the problem and stuff. And I need to bring this up because people are now going like, oh yeah, watch Kojima any day now. He's gonna announce something like this. No,
that is
not
going to happen right now
because he's still under Konami. However, next year, you never know. He may come out with a game that's very scary that stars Norman Reedus and it's called Quiet Meadow or something. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But
I definitely think that if push comes to shove, and if he's on his own, if he doesn't decide to resign, which I doubt he is going to resign,
that ain't happening.
Or even Konami is going to want him back. I don't know, but I do think that if he were to walk out and then he has this game under his arm, wherever he goes, people are just going to jump on that. It just seems like a lot of the studios, a lot of the companies over the big Japanese studios are just kind of retreating inward. This, we're talking about this later, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, the last thing to wrap this up is I'll ask you guys a question. We're going to listen, throw on your questions right now. Okay, what creator would you like to see come back to a title they, created? I'm going to go with Yu Suzuki and Shenmue. I want him back. That'd be great.
I'd love to see. I mean, you saw that interview with him not long ago.
Yeah, maybe not Shenmue, but reminiscent of Shenmue. If he created a game like that, spiritual successor, I would love that shit. I'm going with Yu Suzuki.
I'd love to see. But again, another guy who got the window seat.
He got the window seat too.
Because that's the one thing about Japanese studios, that they don't really fire you. They just kind of put you somewhere and just kind of let you do minuscule things. And that's why they want you to leave. They won't get rid of you, but they'll take enough away from you so that you'll want to leave.
Yeah, that's what they did to what's-his-face from Nintendo, right? They gave him the fucking
Gunpei.
They gave him, Gunpei got the... And nobody... that's what happens in Japan. It's like, you notice this right away. It's like all these incredibly creative people, they make one or maybe a few mistakes, and then now they're like, whatever, you'll put you over there.
Look what they did to my man Sakaguchi from Final Fantasy. He made that shitty movie. He's like, okay, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you don't.
He literally had to. What did he do? He literally had to make his own company so that he can make another Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy-like game.
Final Fantasy type game. Yeah.
What was that game again? I can't remember it. Last Story.
Something like that.
It was it was something like Last Story or Last Remnant or something like that.
It was The Last Remnant, and that game was amazing.
Yeah.
Xbox game. Yeah. Brett,
I bought an Xbox for that game.
Really? That's pretty cool. Did it satisfy the Final Fantasy-ness?
Yes. Yes, it did. And it had a really cool system where basically, instead of controlling 5 different characters, you controlled 5 different parties of 5 characters.
Interesting.
So it was really cool, though, because each party basically acted as a cohesive unit. So if you wanted a party to be able to heal, then you had to have a healer in that little party. And so instead of like normally how you equip materia or something like that, it made for what was essentially a group that you controlled as one character that was modular because it was made up of 5 different people. So you could take a badass attacker, a badass defender, a healer, and 2 ranged people, and it would come out to a well-balanced character that can heal and defend but has a specialty in attack. Or if you had 1 defender and 3 archers and a magic user, and it would be a character that specializes in ranged attack. So it was a great way that you could have all of these different characters, like 60 different characters, like Final Fantasy Tactics style, where you could train them, upgrade them, but then you put them together into little groups or into little squads, and it augmented the way that the squads behaved. So if you had a squad that plays as a single character that didn't have enough defense, you could just take one of their attack guys out and put a new defense guy in that squad. And you could train people that way too. Like I could take all of my squads, take one of their veterans out, put a newbie in, run through a bunch of battles, and then when they're leveled up, I could take that one person back out of each squad and make a new squad out of fully done veterans. it just added another layer to it. It was really fun, and I played it until my Xbox burnt out.
Oh man! By the way, during that whole time, I wish I could go back and like put a sticker under it. It's like we're talking positively about an Xbox exclusive now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I said to say the same thing about Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon was a good game, you know.
Yeah, man. Manny, what creator would you like to make a spiritual successor of a popular game that he made?
Ooh, one that doesn't do those anymore.
Yeah, it's like, yo, man, come back. Look at that face. He's thinking.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many.
No, we could come back to it later, I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess the guy who originally one of the guys who originally did Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, get those guys. Oh, wait, didn't he come back though with
It was Evil Within, right?
Yeah, it was Evil
Well, that
Within.
wasn't the original guy, right? That was the guy who did Resident Evil 2, right?
I thought he did 4.
He was still involved,
Resident Evil
dude.
4, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, whoever did the first one.
Okay, yeah, get those guys back.
Get those guys back. Bring it back to being put.
By the way, I just realized that you know, in certain situations, you can have a spiritual successor and it just be terrible. Like Evil Within.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, let's be fair. If you played Evil Within 10 years ago, you probably thought it was great. Problem is, 10 years have passed.
I think the biggest issue with Evil Within there was just too much going on. It's just like I think the story was kind of weird, and I think there was a lot more problems than with that one.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, getting here. I know you're probably thinking about somebody right now.
Well, I mean, that's why I backed some of this stuff. I mean, I backed Mighty Number 9. I was so happy when I saw that project. I was like, yes, you know, give me Mega Man. I'm all in here. Fucking take my money. Same thing with Bloodstained. When Nash put that shit up, he's like, you got to see this. I'm like, oh, here it is. Come on, look at that shit.
You know,
yeah,
but
I'm pretty happy.
I was gonna say that Iraragi also did say that he was working something on that was very Vania-ish.
Oh yeah,
a while ago when he walked off, you know.
Oh yeah, this was the thing when we saw. It's like there it is. That's what he's been working on, and it makes sense because remember he started doing the rounds last week. It's like Iragi's just everywhere now. What's going on? You know. So now you know what happened. It's fucking great. Greatest story of the week by far. Brian, do you have anybody in mind?
Simple. David Jaffe, God of War. Because God of War ass tension was ass. That's all I need to say. I'm taking a look out of Candy's book now. Ass tension. I like that name.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Brett, what about you, man? Oh,
Just spiritual successors to games that I want to see just resurrected.
Yeah, by their original creator.
Mutant League Football or the original Legacy of Kain. Not Soul Reaver, but Legacy of Kain.
You want Amy Hennig back, don't you, man? She's working on Star Wars though.
But she just wrote that.
Yeah,
you know,
that would be good. Though, yeah. Who was there? One person? No, but yeah, man. Bring that shit back, please.
Yeah, I'm personally a believer that like as much as I think like. Every once in a while, you get somebody like Miyazaki who single-handedly alters the course of a game. I think most of the time it's about getting a good team together.
Yeah.
And if you kick out one of the legs of the table, it doesn't generally work as well. So I'm kind of taking that question as who would I like to get the original teams of back together, and both of those games because there's nothing that fills the role of what Mutant League Football does. Like it was kind of a Mario Kart kind of fun. It was awesome. And I'd like it to just be like a Mutant League sports game now because they can put that much data on a disc.
Yeah, man.
They couldn't do that before. Just like all, hockey, football, soccer, just fucking go crazy.
Wasn't that that was also an EA franchise, right?
Yeah.
It was.
A whole mutant sports franchise right there. Like you could have all these genres and stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing that does that right now. Like it's just a little niche that's kind of untapped.
I feel like that with car combat games.
Didn't they try to bring back Mutant League Football and nobody funded it? Like they didn't give a shit. I think that happened. Okay, it was like a failed Kickstarter.
Oh man.
That's because they didn't put David Hayter in it.
Oh man, Rachel, what about you? Anybody you want to see come back to make a spiritual successor of a popular game?
Well, I couldn't think of anyone in particular, but I could think of a game that I want revisited that can be done by someone else.
Okay.
Death by Degrees.
Ooh, I haven't heard that. Yeah, that's what I haven't heard that one in a while.
I know for PS2. God, that's like 10 years ago now. But yeah, it was kind of crappy. and I think with PS4, the right creator can do something really awesome with it. And what kind of creator do you think would? Because you have that it's a beat 'em up, but it's a very precise little system.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe get the original creator to do like a spiritual successor to it, kind of.
Yeah.
By the way, the game was Lost Odyssey, guys.
Ah.
Thank you, Apex. I know you got a new name now on Twitter. You're fucking Apex.
You know what I also want to say I would like to see come back? D,
yes, man. Bring that shit. Well, actually, rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, I
original
know.
creator. Yeah, just
He
saying.
passed away not long ago, but like I would love to see D come back. You ever heard the story of how he got that game through the ESRB?
How you pulled out the first one?
Yeah.
Oh,
He literally submitted a version of the game that was all clean and it had absolutely no story elements. And what he did was he waited until the final day to submit to submit it, and he literally had to walk over to the place with the disc of the game and then get it printed.
That's crazy.
Wow. So literally he fucked with the ESRB or whatever ratings board was at the time to get this crazy adult game out.
That's pretty awesome. All right, let's move on to the next one. Maine, I know you've been chomping at the bit to talk about this one. So Konami, the new CEO, he's like, the future of Konami is in mobile games, and the future of gaming is in mobile games. You know, it's like, Chris, you kind of said it best. It's like they're kind of putting the nail in their coffin right there.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I swear,
retarded?
And it comes at the worst frigging time of all. When they have this friggin' tentpole game that's coming out, Metal Gear Solid 5, and they're literally the day before, what was coming out? They were like, oh, these journalists are playing about 5 hours of the game or some shit, and then this idiot comes out and says, oh, we're gonna be going all mobile. Seriously, dude, couldn't you just have waited until you finished this fucking game and got it out on the thing and then said, all right, we're done making console games?
Yeah, you didn't see the speech, but he was actually digging his own plot hole while he was talking. He was like, "Oh,
seriously,
we're done." And then he lied down after.
And then the thing is that you can definitely see the difference in messages that both sides are doing. Like you can definitely see that the Western side of Konami is really trying to do a shitload of damage control when all this stuff comes along. Haven't you if you look at the Konami Twitter, right? Either the European one, the United States one, or all the Western ones, they're all kind of trying to kind of stop this stuff. Like hey guys, we're cool, blah blah blah. Like in other words, not long before this, they literally put out a whole bunch of prints done by fan artists of this kind of 80s Metal Gear movie poster, and it's a whole collection that you could order, right? There was before that, the Konami Europe keeps on putting up all these little featurettes of cosplayers and all kinds of other stuff doing, Konami-based cosplay and Metal Gear and all this other stuff. Now, you have that message. These guys are like, okay, we're for the fans. Your thoughts matter, right? That's what the Western side is saying. And then literally Japan comes in and just punches you in the face and says, no!
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. It's like, okay, here's the thing. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I see the whole mobile thing. It's going to have to burst eventually. As a matter of fact, I think, Manny, was I talking to you about this? The whole mobile scene is like Atari in the early 80s, and we saw where that ended up. You have all these trashy games that are just subpar, just getting them out there as fast as you possibly can, and it can't sustain it.
It's a shitload. It's a bunch of shitty shovelware that they're throwing out there. It doesn't. In order for these companies to even make to continue to stay viable, they have to keep on consistently making those games.
Yeah, and this is why
they're profitable.
This is why. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
The most successful games are just clones of other games. Like, look at Zynga. Their whole business model is stealing other games that work and then supplanting them, right? That's the whole model. That's the whole model of garbage mobile. It's like just copy what the other guys doing. That's why you have 50 games with some kind of city building and paywalls like Smurf Village and Bahamut and Age of Fire, and they're just copies of each other. They just change the game around, and
Exactly.
that's it.
And
You know,
I
I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to actually stick up for a Kotaku writer right now. Jason Schreider, I believe his name was. He wrote an article talking about the trash mobile scene. He was 100% right. Everybody like got on his ass about it. It's like it is trash, and he broke it down. It's like, look, let's take Nintendo, and I'm sorry, Nintendo fans, I have to throw them into the mix. Nintendo's plan is we're gonna release 5 or 7 high quality games, right? And they're gonna be high priced, probably $10. This is what's going to happen. Nintendo puts a game out there. Then another company is going to take that, clone it, sell it for half. Then another company is going to take that, clone it, and sell it for half of that. So,
or no, they're going to clone it and make it free with in-game purchases.
yeah,
right?
so that's the mobile environment, and that's the future. That's what Konami is trying to go for. They're only seeing what's happening now. They're just seeing, like, hey, look at Candy Crush. Look how much money they're making. Look at Angry Birds. We can do that. And they're not seeing the long run. It's like this shit is about to implode. And no, the future is not in mobile gaming.
I think the other thing is that they're also thinking very Japan-centric. In Japan, mobile gaming is like it's really big over there, and I think that's what they're seeing. It's like, oh well, people are more willing to play these things. It's like, and also the consoles are doing well in Japan, but they're not. I mean, at least the PlayStation 4 is doing well in Japan, and the Nintendo handheld. But I mean, other than that, it's like people aren't buying these things. They're mostly blowing all their time on friggin' shitty mobile games.
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the head there. They're only seeing Japan. They're not seeing the rest of the world.
And that's what's happening with all of them. They're all retreating into themselves.
Yeah.
Nintendo, friggin' Konami, Sega, they're all doing it.
Yeah, and it's horrible.
And it's like, everybody's talking about the Japanese game industry. At this point, there's not going to be any Japanese game industry. I mean, all their more creative guys are going to do shit like Iteragi. They're going to go on a Kickstarter and they're going to make the game that you liked, as opposed to making the game that you liked with the company that the studio you liked. Yeah,
and think about Keiji Inafune when he did Mighty Number 9. That's an American company he teamed up with.
Yeah.
You think Kojima's not going to do the same when he?
Hell yeah, he is gonna. That's what's going to happen. He's going to probably, because it seems like, I guess maybe the way the market is going is that more Westerners are buying actual video games than the Japanese market is. So they're just like, all right, we're just gonna, we don't know anything about those guys out there, and rather than try to understand what we do, they're just like, whatever, we'll pull back.
Well, also with the crowdsourced games, they're actually taking influence from backers and people. Like, I was getting emails from Inafune when I was sponsored Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
And he was asking for fan art and stuff, and he liked some of the stuff, and he actually asked to put it in the game. People are actually influencing the games, and I'm sure that'll happen with Bloodstained and other stuff, because they're asking for input, and they're actually people supporting it, and it's like, oh, here's art designed this, and they're like, oh, I like that. I mean, he even had a reward level in Bloodstained where you could create bosses and create other things, So
yeah.
That would never happen. No Japanese company gives a shit. What do you think?
No, I mean it's all about most Japanese studios. It's about controlled play. It's like you do it our way or that's the only way, rather than choosing a route, which Kojima was kind of doing, which he was listening to the fans. He was like, oh, people say something, he'd be like, maybe we'll do this. He's looking literally at the outside of, the outside for input.
Hey, that's why we got Raiden. The girls, they were like, "Why is that old man in the game?"
Yeah, yeah, because one of the stories about Raiden is the fact that there was a bunch of girls that were like, "Why are we playing a bunch of old men? Why don't we have, handsome-looking dudes in this game?" And that's what Raiden kind of represented.
Yeah, that's a case of not, when you should listen to the fans.
Well, I mean, I think what happened was that they had a meeting about, don't quote me on this, but from what I've heard, that it is some sort of meeting they had with people to give feedback after the first Metal Gear, and that was one of the things that one of the people said, that he kind of gravitated on that. It's like, maybe we should make, more, characters that had more appeal. Were sexual, looking or whatever, handsome. You know.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to Brian. What do you think? Is mobile the future of gaming?
Mr. The mobile developer.
Yes. That's why I went to you.
I don't make mobile games. I
I know you
mobile.
make mobile applications, though, right?
Yes. The future of gaming. That's the problem is like gaming is like it changes like from decade to decade. Because like remember there was a big time when the arcades were popular and then home consoles became popular
Yeah.
and then like PC was popular and now mobile games are popular. So it's very difficult to judge what the future will be. But do I think that it'll be mobile? With the amount of crap that's coming out for it, I don't think so. It's essentially a giant bubble that is just waiting to burst, and when it does burst, what will you have to fall back on? I don't know. As I said, and as Tor would probably agree with me, the future is pretty much just streaming now. Like no more dedicated machines. Just you sign up to a service or two, and then you stream your games. That seems to be what the future will be. Well, that's what I think the future will be. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's more plausible than freaking mobile. I don't see that as the future. It's like we're regressing in technology.
I definitely think because so much needs to go into a normal console game. And I also think that the console, the big game industry also kind of, made that a little bit more difficult for things too. Well, like there is no mid-level games. There's only big games.
Yeah. Or little games.
Or little games. There's none of those. There's there's no
THQ, man. THQ.
I was about to say there's no more THQ.
There's no room for those kind of mid-level games, that may not have cost as much or something like that. I mean, there was a point in time where there were tiers of games that you could buy. You could buy a $20 game at a store. You could get games that weren't always $60 or $50 when they were then.
Yeah, but the thing is, going back, I remember when this gen started, a lot of people, and I don't know why, but they were surprised that people were buying consoles in droves. It's like, why are you surprised? Like, because they all thought the same thing. It's all going mobile now. No, that's not the case. People want their consoles. They want their PCs. They want actual real gaming. I'm not saying that's not real gaming, but it's shitty gaming.
I mean, the thing
that's where Brian, remember you were like, hey Tony, you said it's not gaming. It is gaming. It's just very shitty, trashy gaming.
So what you're saying is that it's a Wii U.
Oh wait, and listen. I used to Wii U is a real console.
At least you can play a Wii U on your television.
Yeah, at least the Wii U is a real console.
I mean, I think it's like comparing potato chips and like fucking a filet mignon steak.
Yeah.
That's what you have. It's like, yeah, you could have a cheap, nice snack, and that's what Konami wants. They want cheap and easy snacks that the return of interest is high, and they don't have to put a lot of work into it, right? Like a console game or a PC game. They don't want to spend the money, but they want to rake in that money. It's just quick and dirty stuff.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is also another thing is that Konami really doesn't have. If the Konami were to leave the gaming space, they still at this point are going to be making a shitload of money.
Slot machines and
because
shit.
if you ever look at of all the different things that Konami is into, they have a music company, they own like spas in friggin' Japan. They like make TV, all kinds of crazy shit that you would like. Wait, I thought they were just a video game company. No, they're everything. So if they were to just chop off the video game part of their company, the Konami digital entertainment side of it, they still have other shit to make money with.
Yeah, they still survive. But
did you see the Contra slot machine? Did anybody see that one?
Oh no, and I don't want to.
Yeah, it was a Neo Contra slot machine that was actually released very recently. So, I mean, that's what we're gonna look at. That's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see fucking, again with Kojima maybe leaving. That's what you're gonna see more of. You're gonna see like Metal Gear, the mobile shitty phone game. You're gonna see.
Remember, they said they want to bring Metal Gear and stuff to mobile too.
Mobile. There was a Metal Gear mobile game. So
yeah, and look how well that did.
I mean, it didn't do anything in the United States because it was released in Japan.
Yeah, no one cared.
So I don't think any of this is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's all pretty much a natural evolution of gaming. It's not anything new, am I right?
No, but I mean, do you honestly think the future of gaming is in mobile?
No, I think that's an excuse a company who's on its last legs and can't run what the rest of the wolf pack says as it tries to be like look at it this way. If video game companies were wolves and this was a highly competitive environment, this would be an old wolf with asthma being like, you know what, I'm gonna go hunt in the desert. I bet there's more food there. I'll just kill some lizards. There'll be less wolves there. And all the other wolves were like, yeah, okay, you go out to the desert to find food. I'm sure you're not just going to go out there and die. Like, mobile is the last refuge of a failing company that doesn't feel like they can compete anymore. They feel like it's a niche market. They feel like casual gamers are easy money, and then they get there and they realize that casual gamers have no loyalty, no voice, no consensus, and no I guess brand loyalty. Like,
yeah, man,
they will not keep buying your products even if you put out a good product, and they tend to buy 1 or 2 games, and then that's fucking it. That's why that's how Nintendo got themselves into the problem that they did now. Like, everybody sees this cash grab with the casual gamers only if you're the first one there, only if you're the first person to make fucking Bejeweled, and then only if you can actually keep other people from cloning it, or, you know, there's been all kinds of cases where somebody, you know, makes a successful game, then somebody else steals the name of it or makes a game that with a very similar name and then out-advertises the original one, and even the original game creator is left in the dust.
Yep.
That's not uncommon. So it's a very shaky, unsteady place with no scruples and no real litigation in place because it has no precedent. It's a burgeoning industry. And if you think that you can just sail into pirate-infested waters and make your fortune there, good fucking luck to you. But if you weren't able to make it back here, you know, with a successful brand name and successful IPs, if you cannot learn to listen to your customers, it kind of feels like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Would it be easier just to learn how to not suck as a company? No, you're just gonna try and go somewhere where people don't know your reputation. Mm-hmm. All right, I mean, that's good too.
I also feel like, I mean, you know, on a little bit on the other thing with Konami is that I feel like almost, you know, I said this on my Twitter where it's like they're just like differing bits of information coming from, like, and you have the Western side and you have the Eastern side. I almost feel like they should literally, you know, make the Western side of Konami into its own company where they can handle all of the video game stuff, because it seems like those guys really want to create these console games, so why not let them? And just let Konami, you know, Konami Central make their shitty mobile games, and then let Konami West make the real games. And maybe, I don't know, hire some of the guys that actually do these games right. You know? Yeah,
that'd be the thing is, that's a smart thing to do, so they probably won't do it.
No, they won't do it. It just seems like they're just burning. They're just burn it all. That's it. We're done.
Let me jump you guys to Endgame and ask a quick question. So, if companies aren't listening to their consumer base and we're moving more towards a Kickstarter or customer-funded type model where, you know, there's supply and demand, that system seems very creator-driven, and at a certain point, the industry relies on middlemen. It relies on publishers. It relies on, you know, console producers. So how do the big game companies, like let's say Ubisoft, how does Ubisoft get in this new environment? Because it kind of seems like this battle royale of developers, which I'll be honest is great for consumers. Like, let everybody divide into little teams, seek out funding by making good ideas, develop a good reputation, and then the best developers will rise to the top, garner a good reputation, and then they generally would probably hook up with a publisher for maximum exposure. But that leaves a lot of the publishers out in the dust, and they don't want to risk trying something new. They don't want to, you know, compete in the indie scene, and they don't know what else to do, so they just kind of revamp old titles or fall back on mobile gaming. Like, what is the answer for a game company like Konami or Ubisoft?
See, that's the problem right there. A lot of these Kickstarters, people give money to a person. Like, hey, he made that game I like. I think when you get to the point where, like, hey, you know, here's Ubisoft, they have a Kickstarter, people are going to be like, I'm not giving Ubisoft any money. They got plenty
Yeah.
of money. Fuck
They
those
would
guys.
never have the trust. If
Yeah.
EA went and said, we want to make, the next Call of Duty, we're going to Kickstarter it, people would laugh. They'd laugh
Yeah,
right off
get
the
the fuck out of
start,
here.
man.
You know, but if you had Michel Ancel, hey, I'm gonna make a Rayman spiritual successor. I left Ubisoft. People would throw money at this guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course they would. But if we're sitting on the Konami board of directors or something like that, like how would we say like? Because here's the thing.
Manny already said it. You make let the Westerners make real games, and you let the Japanese ones do shitty mobile games. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, even a lot of these games seem to be going like, how as a company then do you reach out to? Because I think even Ubisoft tried to do something where they tried to reach out and said, what kind of games do you want us to make? We'll make 5 different little experimental games and see what you like. Like, but there doesn't seem to be a clear answer. There's indie developers and the battle royale that is their field over here, and the awesome things that come out of it, like No Man's Sky and Star Citizen and just. Too many other things to actually fucking list right now. And then you have the developers. And it seems like if you're looking strictly at the developers, right now the choice seems to be adapt or shrivel up and die. And as Konami probably doesn't want to die, or as Ubisoft probably doesn't want to die, how would they evolve? How can they stay relevant?
They'd have to test. See, Kickstarter isn't for big publishers and big developers. Nobody, they're not going to have the trust, or nobody's going to go, you guys have infinite pockets. I'm not giving you money to make a game. What they need to do is do what Kojima did. What Kojima did with Silent Hills and PT is exactly what these guys need to do. You do a small test. You make up a studio. You put out a teaser of something, right? It could be ambiguous, and you test the waters. You see how many people download the demo. You can get metrics off of all this stuff. How long did they play? Did they finish it? All this stuff. That's how they test the waters. They have the money to do that. Kickstarter's not for them. Kickstarter's for guys to go, guys like you, me, Igarashi, whoever, who have big ideas but don't have the big pockets to do it, you know?
Yeah.
If you have big pockets, then you can test things. This is the problem. Big companies, because they have so much money, they just instantly throw budgets at stuff and they just go, let's just make this shit, right? They don't test anything, and they're not willing to try to experiment with things.
Yeah, that's probably the best answer right there.
I think that was exactly the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
That's it. There you go. All right.
I mean, again, it took a forward-thinking person to go, oh, hey, you know, maybe if we did this, and I'm sure they were collecting a bunch of metadata when the Silent Hills was out.
Yeah.
And they
that's
still
another franchise people
fired
do
him.
that. Yeah.
And now PT doesn't exist anymore, right? Right?
Ridiculous.
Pointing at the charts on the wall, like, apparently, according to these charts, this is wildly successful. We need to get rid of that guy.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, look how much console games are selling. Let's go mobile. Okay, I don't understand these people. All right.
Because
yeah,
sometimes, like 80% of the time it's about money, but there's ego in there.
Oh yeah.
And he stepped on all of them. He made them look all stupid.
Yeah, he really did.
At the end of the day.
The charts are kind of skewed because they have to be looking at the user base, like the installed user base, and everybody has a cell phone. Not everybody has a console. They're like, there's a way bigger market for mobile games. Like, yeah, but they don't spend money the same way that your hardcore gaming audience does. Like, that's something they've lost sight of time and time again. It's like, you know who keeps the game companies afloat and keeps people from going out of fucking business? The people on this fucking show. The people who buy a console as soon as it comes out. The people who still pre-order games even though there's absolutely no need to pre-order games. There's no real benefit to pre-ordering games.
Like, but you want those exclusives, don't you?
Yeah.
Exclusives, baby.
We
want DLC.
Yeah, we care enough to risk money on a game that might be crappy. We care enough to buy the collector's editions. Like, we're the people that you need to be marketing to. And the only people that seem to have actually understood that is Sony. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they're leading and they seem to be the ones pandering most to their audience. Like, we are suckers for it. I mean, look at Sony's like advertising campaign. Microsoft has kind of followed suit on it. It's pandering towards gamers. It's like, you guys are unique and awesome, and you are just the motherfucking tits. Here's to you, gamers. And PlayStation people, like, they ate it up. And why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't we? Because we're driving a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's nice to get a little recognition of the power that we hold. And it's nice to utilize that and have a company be like, all right, fucking what do you want? Well, listen. Like, I think that's the heart of what we're all dancing around. Like, if you tell your consumer base to go fuck themselves, your business will probably not do well. If you ask your consumer base, how can we better serve you in order to get you to buy more stuff, like, it doesn't even need to be a veiled thing. Like, we know the drill. You want our money. You're not trying to be my best friend. You don't care about my family. You don't want to know how my wife is doing. You just want my fucking money, and that's fine. I just want you to make good games.
Make it easier for me to give you money.
Yeah, it's that simple.
I don't know. Can we just take what Brett said and send that right to Iwata?
Yeah.
You need to hear this.
Iwata, listen to this episode, man. All right, let's move on to this one. Happened today. Very interesting story. Chris, what's going on with Gears of War and Microsoft and all this other crazy shit?
So there was a beta test, like a closed, a private testing for this Gears of War HD remastered, right? And one of the testers, he leaked it. He Snapchatted it to his buddy, like, oh, look what I'm playing. So his buddy just put that shit online. And man, Microsoft brought the wrath down on these kids, man. I mean, their Xbox Live.
What did they bring exactly? They didn't bring the hammer. They brought
the chainsaw gun. That was what he says. And not only that, they actually disabled their consoles.
Yes,
the Xbox Ones are disabled until, and this is from Microsoft, until they decide that at an appropriate time to re-enable them.
Okay, so let me. I'm picturing this in my head. They're playing the beta, and the game screen kind of flickers and glitches out for a second, and then boom, there's a picture of Cliff Basinski with a chainsaw gun, says all your consoles belong to us, and then blackout.
Well,
yes, that's
probably
exactly
not
what
Cliff,
happened.
it's not probably not Cliff Blazinski. It's probably whoever is the leader of Microsoft now.
It's like Phil Spencer on your screen.
Now, on one hand, it's like, that's a little extreme on Microsoft's end to just direct their consoles. Oh yeah. But
Dude.
okay.
Number one, here's the other thing. Though, here's the thing. You sign an NDA.
That's what I was going to get to. It's like
Those things.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
So-
you break your console, but you probably shouldn't be Snapchatting the shit to your fucking buddy.
Okay, number
You
one,
know?
like, yeah, you also, the thing is, like, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be Snapchatting to any of those things, and it's all in the NDA there. Who knows? Maybe that shit, what they did to those guys' consoles, is also in the NDA.
It is. They
fuck
said
with
it was
us-
all within with this. It said it was all within their legal means, man.
It's exactly. So it's like, it's not any sort of surprise. Nobody should be surprised about this. This is all in fucking.
Nobody reads those. Like, I think everybody's
Well, then they
like, wait a minute.
those things.
They
I
could
read my NDAs whenever I get them for for the shows that I work on.
Oh no, dude! Have you read Apple's EULA? Have you ever sat down and read the Apple EULA?
I read their thing.
That's
It's pretty
funny.
nutty.
You read all of it?
Not all of it, but yes.
No, I mean, fuck, man. This stuff. I'm sure we're violating it, like just sitting here.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it's
the thing is,
crazy.
then again, you really, the main thing about these things, NDAs, is you're not supposed to send any pictures or anything like that. Of course, people do break the NDAs. They send it over to their friend. But again, you should be like, yo, dude, don't fucking post this on something.
Well, no, he shouldn't have taken the pictures in the
He
first
really
place. Like, it was stupid,
No,
but
he shouldn't have. But I'm still shocked. Like, I was like, wait a minute, they can just shut down your
Yes,
console. Like,
Well, that's
that's the only thing I can heard is Microsoft has the ability to be like, fuck you, and just turn off your console. Like, I didn't know that.
How does this surprise anybody? They've been able to do this since the Xbox 360.
Have they? I know that they can.
No,
Yes.
they catch cheaters, right? If you
Yeah.
mod your system, they have a way to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that just locked you from getting online.
No, they can fuck your system over.
Oh. Well,
Like-
that sucks.
Yeah, so they've
But
been
yeah,
able,
that's the part
they've
that
been
stuck
able-
out to everyone. The whole
they've been-
breaking console
they've
thing.
been able to brick consoles from Xbox 360. This isn't anything surprising. Whenever people were friggin' bootlegging games, they'd brick your console, stuff like that. I mean, I knew some.
It's the shock that they did it. Like, it was so public that these kids, like, because they violated the NDA, they violated Microsoft EULA, and they went, hey, you know what? But I didn't think about this, but Nash brought this up earlier, and I agree with them. Microsoft could sue the shit out of these kids, right?
They really could.
They could destroy them, but instead they're like, no, you lose your Xbox for whatever, a few months.
Yeah, Nash was like, you know what? I'd rather have my console brick than be fucking sued by Microsoft.
Yeah, because they would destroy them. Like, they could destroy these kids' lives. They're like, nah, we're just taking away your
Well, I mean, also at the same time, it's like, again, it's some kid. What are they going to get out of them? They sue their parents into submission?
Yeah, it's a submission, man. It could ruin these guys' lives.
I think
they can make them work in the Microsoft like coal mines and stuff, you know, slaving away for the rest of their day.
Bring them to the Microsoft mine.
They're gonna be being whipped by orcs and stuff. They're like turning a big wheel, you know, to power Microsoft.
It'll be those weird enemies from the Gears of War. It'll be those things. The Protheans, whatever the fuck those things names are. I was gonna call them.
It gets your name on a list, and the day you turn 18, you get a letter from Microsoft, so they come in and take your Burger King paycheck and your Prius.
Yeah.
Your Prius belongs to us now.
It's Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Oh man. So yeah, that's what stuck out to me. It's like, damn, they just break their shit like that. Because before that, I'm like, okay, they broke the NDA, whatever, who cares? Oh, they bricked their consoles. Okay, let's talk about that. Very interesting stuff.
I mean, it doesn't. To me, it's like, all right, they've been able to do that before, so it's like, why not? Why can't they do that to your console?
Well, I had a problem with them being able to reach out because once you buy something, it should be yours, right? It should be private property. The fact that after the fact the company, it should be yours. So the fact that the company can reach out anytime they want, right? What if they messed up? What if Microsoft just said, let's shut his console off?
Yo, man, maybe one day I'm going to talk so much shit about Microsoft, they're going to shut down my PC, right?
Well, the one thing is that also, you know, as far as the complaint system goes, you know, sometimes that's also not people's consoles been breaks, but they have been tossed off of Xbox Live, you know, because somebody made it a complaint.
Sure, but that's an online service. That doesn't stop you from using your system, you know, solo, right? Turning it on. They can't use their system, period, now.
It's break, man. Oh, man, insane.
Man, don't fuck with Microsoft. That's all that means.
Hey, lesson learned. No, that's not don't fuck with. Don't break NDAs. Don't fucking do it, please.
Exactly. Well, that's what that means. But the thing is, it's like, you know, some people just don't take those things seriously. These guys have the legal right. If it's in the contract that you've signed, you probably should check your contract a little bit just before you start fucking sending people.
I don't think.
Well, how about just have the sense? Yeah, somebody told them.
Have common sense.
You can't show anyone this shit, right? They tell them that in the beginning.
You know, though, you know what's funny because, what was it? The PlayStation ones, I know when you get those games beforehand, they have everything disabled on them. Like, you can't even take a screenshot of the damn thing beforehand.
Like, I remember he took it with his cell phone. That's the only thing I can think of.
He used his phone. Yeah, he was using Snapchat, so he used his phone.
Yeah, you don't need to read the freaking whatever for that. It's like, it's common sense. Don't take pictures of that.
Don't take pictures of your shit.
It's a non-disclosure agreement. Like surely, like, the whole idea of it is in its name. Like, don't disclose.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, you know, some people should read about just to see what the fuck these guys will do to you if you did fuck up.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. I remember once I read the story of like this one company that decided to change their end user license agreement to have it say something dumb like we will own your first kid, and then people just signed it like willy-nilly. And then like, later on they went to them and said, hey guys, you just signed this, so which means that we legally have like, control of your first kid. And they're like, huh? What? But then of course it was all just like a joke to
we're
say
just
that.
fucking with
Hey,
you.
no, it was. I was like, just a joke to say, hey guys, you guys should like be more aware of like what you sign and read because some of the stuff is dumb. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But then again, it's like there's so many fucking pages and it just goes on forever and ever.
Yeah. And then if you disagree, you can't use the shit, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you have a million pages, but it really boils down to: do you want to play, yes or no? If you don't want to play, don't sign it. If you do want to play, sign it and forfeit your firstborn.
Yeah, well, it's also like, do you want to be able to use this $400 piece of equipment you just bought? Yes or no?
It's
and
like,
they're just like, no. They're like, cool. Have fun just sitting there.
You just stare at it for 8 years, you know.
It's not like you can return your PlayStation if you open it up and you're like, I don't like what's in the disclosure here, and you decide not to sign it. Like, what are you just gonna return your PlayStation? No, you just have to eat that $400.
Pretty
And
much.
it's even
man.
worse with like a subscription service that you're already, signed on to, or that anything that holds any information on the
This
cloud
guy
or like an
used
album.
Game Capture, by the way. He used Game Capture. What the
Oh, he
fuck is
did?
wrong with it? Yeah. Thank you for the Apex. He sent me the shit. Yeah, the guy used Game Capture. That's making it worse, dude. You're
Yeah,
lucky
but
I
yeah, he
fucking
took-
threw your bitch ass.
Took a seriously good screenshot out of it. So.
Yeah. Man, fucking morons. All right, let's move on to the last story here. Fanboys are frothing over this one. The NPDs came out, and Microsoft beat Sony for the first time in a long time. They beat them by 13,000 in America, which isn't that much, but it's something. Now, here's what I was thinking. It's cool that they got that victory and all, but
What's this? What are you doing?
Let's keep it in perspective here. Let's talk about Street Fighter, right? Which is also exclusive on PlayStation right now. Okay, so you have Player 1 and Player 2, they're fighting each other, right? Player 1's beating the shit out of Player 2. Player 2, hey, he may get out a Hadouken, he may get a Tatsu, whatever, take a little bit of damage and stuff. And right now, he got a good jab in there. Maybe the medium hit, got a good one in there. But he still lost like 80% of his health. Meanwhile, the other guy's sitting at 80% health, okay, that's nice. You got that one little victory there, but it doesn't mean shit. The only way it's going to mean shit if it's... But hey, let me finish. If Player 2 decides, hey, I'm going to be Daigo right now, son. Come at me. Blocking everything. Fuck 'em. The only way if this is really going to matter is if we have, 4 months consecutive wins.
Tony.
What's up?
As a great Dominic Toretto once said, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Yep.
Yeah, but my point still
Xbox
stands.
One. It doesn't matter. Xbox won this last month.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, if you're looking at the micro
Who
of
cares?
it, if you're looking at the micro of it, yeah, Microsoft won that month. Fantastic.
They won, even though that Sony had Bloodborne and The Order, like 2 big exclusives by people, and Microsoft had what? Ori and the Blind Forest?
Yeah, but here's the thing,
No, man,
though.
because they wanted that game. They
Microsoft
wanted
had
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, but they had nothing. But here's the
They had
interesting thing.
literally nothing.
Yeah, but here's the thing you're failing to understand, though. Sony still sold it more games.
We're not arguing games here. We're arguing consoles
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah, and Sony had games. Microsoft really
Sony
had no
had
games.
Yeah. But the point
When I
is,
say
you
PS4 has
can't
no
look at
games,
the
I say
micro. You
that.
got to look at the entire thing. It's like I said, hey, you're gonna give that. Okay, so you're gonna be like, hey, he got a Hadouken in. Oh, this is okay. That guy's gonna do it now. This is.
That's not getting how to do that.
Hey,
That
Tony.
is winning a round. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you lost a round to some
He
guy.
didn't win a round, dude. They got a fucking hit in. They didn't win a round. Get out of here.
Tony.
A month is a round. It doesn't matter if you've been winning the whole time. If that guy managed to beat you in one round and you were sat there saying,
It's not a round though. You just got one hit in. You got to meet.
if you're Daigo and you're saying, oh, I'm the best in the world, and then some random chump who you say is shit beats you in a round, then people will turn to you and look and say, hey, what happened that round? This guy you said was shit.
It's not a round though.
Who is
But
shit,
Tony.
and we've seen that he's shit, yet he still managed to beat you this one round. Were you sleeping? And that's after you had a great couple of rounds before that. What went wrong?
Yeah, but it's not a round though. It's like he got a good
It is
hit
a
in.
round.
It doesn't, Tony.
isn't.
It doesn't matter. Whenever you talk about how PlayStation won that month, you
Yeah.
don't put an asterisk at the end of it and talk about the conditions under which it won. It is not being non-biased if when Microsoft does win one, that you're like, well, keep in mind they only won this one and they're still way behind. Let the Microsoft people enjoy this victory.
No,
man.
but I have to keep it in perspective, just like we kept it in perspective
Why?
last week.
Why do you have to keep it in perspective? That's like
Because
going to
that's the
Disney
way-
World
that's
being
what
like,
Throwdown's
here's the cotton
about,
candy,
man.
but don't forget, malaria is killing thousands in Africa.
But that has nothing to do with anything. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Just like last week, and everybody was so happy about the Nintendo news, we broke it down. It's like, hey, calm it down, guys. Now, if Microsoft wins 4 months in a row, they won the fucking round. There we go. Now this
Microsoft
is
won with
serious.
no games. How is that possible?
By
How is it?
13,000, dude. Come on.
How is it the weaker of the two consoles with less games, less better games that had no games since what? The holiday season managed to beat out PlayStation that had more games, had Bloodborne, which is arguably one of the better games of this generation so far, is at a
Okay,
better
why
price
do you
point.
think it happened then?
And I don't know why. That's how I'm so confused.
No, but
How did this
that brings
happen?
up a good
I thought
point.
that Sony was king. Seriously, how did this happen?
No one knows, but again, anomalies
whole-
happen, man.
It's like the whole thing with it's kind of different to that, but still, it's just how is this meant to happen? I thought that the PlayStation was doing so well that it was untouchable, but yet like the fact that Xbox still managed to pull a round back is like something's going on.
You have to give them credit because putting in perspective this whole generation, there's no explanation why the PlayStation 4 is even selling as well as it is, right?
Yeah,
even Yoshida admitted it. Yeah. So for Microsoft to come from behind this month of all months with big games on Sony's side.
Yeah, I'll admit that it's a very weird anomaly. But remember, again, in the U.S. as well, it's not the entire world, So Sony's still ahead. When Microsoft starts really getting ahead, then we can start talking.
You are so gonna get some hate.
I know.
Oh, yeah, other things coming. I know that.
It's steaming right now.
I can hear. Listen, you hear that?
It's like a kettle. Kettle is boiling.
Damien's coming after me too. I know it, man. I'm just keeping it real with you guys, man. Because I know what's gonna happen. Other things gonna come in there. He's like, that's it. Sony's gonna lose the entire generation now. This proves it. It's like, dude, they just got a fucking good hit in. Nah, sorry.
They had a very good hit in.
Listen,
a very good hit would be 300,000, dude.
Yeah. Just leave it. It's okay.
No, we gotta talk about it. We can't not talk about the story.
No, I'm not saying don't talk about it, but I'm saying this is like, they did it. That's cool.
Yeah, Tony, you're
fine. That means that that means that Sony has good competition. That these guys could give them
decent competition.
They have
Tony, okay. Let me explain this in a way that if we're gonna get down and dirty with the metaphors here, you are wrong with your boxing analogy. If you
it's
have
not
to look
boxing,
at
Street Fighter.
Okay, fine. You're wrong with your Street Fighter analogy. You're wrong with the fighting analogy. It's not a back and forth. It's that PlayStation had a shit ton of momentum, and they were barreling forward. It's like somebody fucking stopping a train, or when Superman stops a comet. Like, yeah, like he may have just fucking stopped the train or just stopped the comet, but they have stopped all of that momentum. Like, if we're at the point where Microsoft can't even win a month, that means that Sony's momentum isn't just steamrolling them. It means that they may kind of even out and kind of get some kind of equality and growth, which is good for everybody, not just Microsoft. It's good for PlayStation fans as well, because we don't want one company just shutting out another one.
Oh, so I agree with you. Actually, by the way, bringing it back to my analogy, Street Fighter, you're right. It's like they got, player one's doing great, and then player two gets a good hit, and it's like, oh, shit. What's going to happen now? That's the thing. If
you could break a combo. So it's not like they just got one hit in. It's more important than that. They have broken a sort of momentum and now aren't getting their ass handed to them. And not only that, but they've managed to turn it back a little bit. So we'll see how much this fluctuates back and forth. But the fact that they did this in a time when they don't really have any big games that just came out, they don't have a reason to be making this push.
They don't have any big games.
Yeah, everybody. By the way, I love everybody who's telling me it's like, oh yeah, Halo Chief Master Chief Collection. It's like the game's old and it doesn't work. And I don't think that's the reason. I don't think anybody knows the reason.
If that game managed to bring it back, then I guess that serves how powerful Halo is.
Yeah, like I guess maybe other things right. Maybe Halo's going to sell 8 million copies, in 1 week.
If an old broken game managed to push it past what this competition did, then people might be sleeping on Halo.
Oh, where is Shemnu? Where the fuck is it? I will buy an Xbox. Just bring it back. I will buy an Xbox.
Dick already commented, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, so he's watching live.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the other MPD.
Moving on.
Well, no, you guys don't want to see the truth, so I can't change your mind. So
it's
what
not,
truth?
It's not that it's the truth. It's just the fact that dude, we've.
Listen, if we come back next month and Microsoft beat it, I'll be like, okay, something's going on here. The momentum is shifting. Again, after months after, like, okay, now we have an actual real console war. Maybe they're gonna win the round. Then I'll come back 1 month. Doesn't matter.
He was doing the same thing when Xbox did the same thing around November and December.
And
just give it a month. Just give it a month.
Yeah, and look what happened. Sony came back. So anyway, the 10 best-selling games now. No surprise here. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
Kombat 10. Grand Theft Auto is still there. It's insane.
PC release. I'm guessing it pushed it.
Yeah. Battlefield Hardline, obviously. MLB 15 to show 1080p, 60 frames a second. Others Inc. Just so you know. Minecraft, a game that will never go away. NBA 2K.
Version of just Minecraft in general?
Just Minecraft.
Okay. Sure.
Does this thing break down, like, the first console they list, is that the one it sold the most on? Is that how this thing breaks down? Because it seems like it sold the most on 360.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because Mortal Kombat sold the most on PS4. Grand Theft Auto sold the most on PS4. Battlefield on Xbox One. MLB, obviously, on PS4. Xbox One for NBA, Call of Duty, Xbox One. Dark Souls 2 on PS4. Super Smash Brothers on 3DS. And Borderlands on PS4. So there you go. Didn't they say that sales were a little bit down compared to last year, but not by much? Something like that.
Okay, here's my question.
Yeah.
Why is Dark Souls 2 on there, but Bloodborne not? And I know that both Chris and I have been like, God, I'm gonna have to buy Dark Souls 2 again. Like, so I know that Bloodborne has driven the sales of that, but you would think that there would be more Bloodborns than Dark Souls 2, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they're counting both 7th and 8th generation sales in that, or even counting Dark Souls 2 OG version in the sales number. Again, I'm not sure, because that's one thing that would make sense, because I don't think that Dark Souls 2 sold that much in the first place, so maybe they're just accumulating all sales across all versions of Dark Souls 2 regardless.
Okay.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
No, you're right, because they list all of them right here. PS4, Xbox One, 360, PS3. They list them all.
Yeah, but this is just for the month of April, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that game is still selling a shitload of copies.
But think about it like this: Bloodborne is only on one console. This is on multiple consoles.
Yeah, these things never make sense. Like, are there still people buying the shit out of Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah.
There's still people buying GTA 5 somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's like one of the best games ever made. Like, I'm sorry, like if you're sitting down, you're like, oh, what game should I buy? I don't know, what's one of the best games ever made?
But then who doesn't have it at this point in time?
That's why I'm baffled.
Who doesn't have it?
Well, I think it's PC
just
sales,
being
right?
like, I should pick up some Smash Brothers. I've heard good things.
This PC stuff, especially with the mods, that probably was.
GTA, you got a whole new lease on life because of those crazy mods.
Yeah, who doesn't have GTA 5 by now? Seriously, who doesn't have it?
Brian's showing up too.
I'll raise my hand.
By the way, but here's the thing though. Even before the PC release, GTA 5 was in the top 5 this entire time.
Yeah.
It never left. It's been in the top 5 since it was released on the last gen console, man.
Yeah, there's being late to the party, but then there's like I had this game that came out. Like that's like at this point being like, so what's with this Game of Thrones show I keep hearing about?
Hey, some people haven't heard. You've seen it, man.
I know. Every time somebody says that, I was like, yeah, but you know what it is, right? And they're like,
no,
I don't know. Is it like The Hobbit? And you're like, what the fuck is your problem? How do you at least not know what this is?
What's a Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
a game of what?
A game of who?
Oh, Game of who?
It's a game, right? It's actually a game. The Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It's about that, some Daenerys Stormbringer or something.
Stormbringer. Oh man! Oh, hold on. I want to give a quick shout out to Gruebs. You all put out great content. He lists all of us, so thank you for that. He has a little bunny icon. That I like.
Oh yeah, bunny icon back at you. I was like,
all right,
we put out good content. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. All right, let's move on to the pop culture-y stuff. Unless anybody else has anything else to say.
I just
wait.
like the numbers.
Well, wait. Let's talk. Can we just talk for a second about how Capcom is throwing out yet another HD remaster of a game that's been released from the last generation?
Oh, you mean DMC, man?
Oh, so now it's like, oh, the HD remakes are too much.
I didn't say that. That game should not be released because it sucks. That's all I'm saying.
Don't remake shitty games.
Yeah,
Also, no HD remakes. I want quality remakes. I would have no problem if they went back and made quality ports and remakes from every great game back from PlayStation 1 until now. Like, think of all the great games that you play that you're probably not going to go back and play because you don't own a fucking PlayStation 1 anymore.
Brian, I'm not hating on him. What are you talking about? I'm not hating on no HD remasters. I'm just hating on that.
Oh God! What the
If I could come over to your house
problem?
and burn that, Tony, I totally would.
Why? It's my money, goddammit.
Why are you buying it? Stop encouraging Square Enix's bad practices.
Yeah, I thought we weren't gonna buy any more games until they came out with Final Fantasy VII again, Tony. We agreed on that on
I
air.
didn't agree to that shit, man. I didn't agree to that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Tony doesn't want Final Fantasy VII remake. That's proof. No, he's keeping Square in business by buying that. So,
hey, I didn't buy it for the PS3, so I bought it for the PS4. Fuck you.
So
It was terrible.
Don't keep them in business.
Watch my Charlie's Angels one too.
Oh man, you guys are crazy.
By the way.
Yeah.
Charlie's
All right. All right. Oh yeah. What are you gonna? What do you want to say about DMC? Why you bring that up?
I just bring it up because it's just another one of those situations. It's like, really, we're doing this.
That's bottom of the barrel.
We're Devil May Cry 4.
Devil May Cry 4 was one of the worst Devil May Cry games. You're gonna remake that?
Didn't we just get through getting a remaster or remake of a Devil May Cry game that just came out like not long ago?
Yeah, well, that was a good one at least. But you know why they're doing DMC4 for the guys who like Dante with the white hair.
Yo, man, I like white hair Dante. I don't like that Glenn Danzig Dante.
Brian, you gonna say something, man?
Just fuck you to Capcom. Right now they're having a Steam sale, and it's the entire Capcom library apart from Lost Planet 2. The only one game I want to buy from Capcom on PC is on sale. So fuck you.
They did you dirty. Look at Brad.
Oh, that's like I could just see Capcom flipping through the internet this guy right here, fuck this guy.
Fuck him right there.
At the same point, didn't they make Dark Void? Wasn't that them too?
Yeah.
That's on sale.
Yeah, that's on there.
Yeah.
So,
That's on sale. Dead Rising 2.
So Dark Void gets a discount, but yet Dead Rising was it not Dead Rising?
Lost
Planet 2 doesn't get it. That seems a bit odd.
Lost Planet 1 and 3 get it as well, which is even funnier.
What the fuck? Why?
They don't want you to play 2. Sorry, Brian.
Hold on, I'll show you if I can. So right now this is going on Steam, and there it is. Lost Planet 1, Lost Planet 1, Lost Planet 3. There's no 2. Even DuckTales is on there. Devil May Cry, Strider, Super Street Fighter is there as well. Even Resident Evil 6.
Wow.
6. But yeah.
Wow, Brian, man, they did you dirty, son.
I'm angry.
They're playing dirty. They're playing Capcom Pool, which is
That's a good way of ending the video game section. Fuck you, Capcom. Oh man! All right, pop culture stuff. A lot of shit happened this week too. It's like, whoa, all the shit coming from.
Oh man, they're slapping you in the face with facts.
Okay, so what was it, like a month ago? They pretty much made it official that Magneto is not the father of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Now they went a step further. Now they're no longer mutants. They're like, nope, you guys were never mutants. The high evolutionary created you, and this is simply to go, hey, Fox.
Well, that's fuck you, Fox.
Yeah, fuck you,
Disney
Fox.
going fuck you, Fox.
Yeah, that's the whole thing right there. And the reason I brought this story up is like, isn't it like again? It's like it's fucked up. It's like all these moves are happening to spite comic book fans. Why do you think they killed Wolverine off? It's like fuck you, Fox. Why do you think they killed Deadpool off? Fuck you, Fox. We don't.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, same thing.
Wait,
so yeah,
Deadpool off.
Yep. They held the death of Deadpool. Because Deadpool movies come in, they don't want to be promoting them. That's why. Same thing with Wolverine. Just thinking about it.
Brett's upset now.
Yeah, he is upset. Look at that.
They killed Deadpool.
I'm not even that fucking care about that. Like, god damn it! Like, if there's not enough uphill hurdles that we needed to actually getting a decent Deadpool movie, now that's like finally getting a good job, and your dad being like, "Oh, fuck off."
No, Brett, the movie's still going. It's just the comic books,
I know. Like, why not just quit cutting off your nose to spite your face? Like,
that's what's
if
happening.
you actually launch a successful Deadpool franchise, it's always been on the verge of going A-list. It's always been on the verge of being highly fucking publicized. You tried it, you failed with it. And now for some reason, there's a glimmer of hope, it may be brought back into the mainstream. Like, do you know what a good fucking opportunity this is? But no, you're just like, I don't want to help them. Like, what? So you're gonna try and tank Deadpool so that you can buy the rights back to it? Here's a newsflash: you already fucking tanked it once. Why don't you buy the rights back to it and make the goddamn movie
Fox ain't
before
selling that
Ryan
shit.
Reynolds?
Not selling that shit, man.
No, Fox has already fucking tanked it. If you were going to try and reacquire Deadpool, it would have been before Ryan Reynolds tried to revamp it. And I even like Ryan Reynolds, and I'm happy he's the one doing it. He feels shame for the first Deadpool that came out. He acts like he feels personally responsible for the horrible piece of monstrous trash that we got. And he actually looks like he's fucking trying to fix it a little bit. So, I don't understand why you're feeling the need to sabotage your own thing, because there's no fucking personal gain. I understand the idea that I'm going to kill off Wolverine so that I can get myself in a better position to reacquire him when his public stock goes down, or whatever the fuck you want to call that.
When Hugh Jackman isn't playing him anymore.
Yeah, but you already wasted that opportunity with Deadpool. You already had it to the point where nobody fucking cared again because people started to care. You tried to cash in, and you just fucking wrecked that shit like a Godzilla through Tokyo.
Here's the really silly thing about what Marvel is doing. Marvel still owns all the merchandising rights for all these fucking movies.
Yep.
Anytime a new Spider-Man movie comes out, what do they got? They have the rights to do it. They have all of it. So why the fuck are they going to do that? They make more money off. They make more money off of merchandising than they do off of the fucking movie anyway.
Yeah, and there's more to it. By the way, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but when the new Fantastic Four movie was announced, right? You know what happened at Marvel? All the posters, Fantastic Four posters, the dude was like, take them shits down, get rid of them. Like these guys are like really, for as good as Marvel is with the whole movie stuff, they're really kind of like bitter about some of this shit, which is weird. It's like you sold the rights to them. What the fuck?
Well, Marvel the thing show should be about bitter companies, right? First Konami, and now we're talking about Marvel being babies.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's the other thing. I didn't even know about this. Chris Claremont, who wrote X-Men for decades, right? He was saying that it's very hard to write a new X-Men story now because Disney was like, no more new X-Men. Do not create any more new characters in X-Men. They told Marvel this. Why? Because if Marvel makes a new X-Men character, Fox could use them, and they don't want Fox to use any of these characters, so they're like, nope, no more X-Men characters. And after Secret Wars is over, they're going to cut back on X-Men titles. Fantastic Four is getting canceled. Yeah, I mean, they're spiting the fucking movie, which is crazy. You would think they would try to be a little bit more collaborative with them.
Well, I mean, like, kind of like what they're doing with Sony. I mean, the thing is that before
Marvel still gets money off the movies. They don't get that as much, but they still get a slice.
They still get a slice. I mean, the thing about it is that they need. I mean, if they really wanted to make maybe they'll, also, Fox isn't interested in collaboration,
Maybe, but it's just fucked up. The ones who suffer are obviously the comic book fans. Now they're not going to get as many like X-Men books, and Wolverine's dead for who knows how long.
Is New Mutants still have a book? Because Fox is doing that movie now.
So that's right.
So we're going to open the next issue of New Mutants, and they all fall in a volcano. It's like, oh, they're all dead.
Yeah, but that title's not going to exist. Let's jump straight to that. So New Mutants is coming from Fox. They announced it, and obviously you know what they're trying to do. They want to build their own mutant universe, kind of like Avengers and stuff like that. And since Wolverine's going to be exiting soon, they probably want to bring in new guys and stuff to replenish the supply or whatever.
Who would you get to play Cable, though?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Get The Rock. Put white hair on.
Put a white wig on him.
Put a white wig and the metal arm.
You can't get Rock because he's Shazam. Or no, he's Black Adam. That's what he's playing. But yeah, it's obvious what's going on here. They're going to make their own franchise and stuff because they can't, that's all they have. I mean, there's plenty of mutants out there. They could definitely do it.
Mutant.
But yeah, no more, New Mutants ain't going to be around, man. There's probably going to be 2 X-Men books when all is said and done. Marvel is, like, pissed. Just crazy.
Hey, Tony.
What's up?
What if I went back in time 10 years when you bought your first ticket to that first Marvel movie and I told you that you were kicking off a long and complicated sequence of actions that was ultimately going to kill the X-Men? What would you tell me?
I'm like, oh, actually...
No, he would tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe you. That's true, because you know how hard-headed I am.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't believe you.
Don't see this movie! You'll kill the X-Men!
Like, yeah, no one's killing X-Men. You're fucking crazy.
This will be Tony. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I was a lot more ornery back when I was younger.
Yeah, you think he's angry now.
I've calmed down over years, people. I'm old. But yeah, I would not believe you. But yeah, that's essentially what happened. It's like all these actions. Hey, Tony, you know how you like Fantastic Four? They're gone. It's like, wait, get the fuck out of here.
Like, how did they die? You bought tickets to their movies. You're like, what the fuck does that even mean? How does that happen?
Like, how does me buying tickets to Iron Man and Hulk assure the death of the Fantastic Four? It doesn't make any sense. You know, by the way, I love the fact that Marvel is like kind of pushing the Fantastic Four to the side, yet the main villain in Secret Wars is fucking Doctor Doom. You know, so they're still trying to, you know,
Yeah, they're probably going to kill him off too, sorry.
Yeah, they probably will.
He's a blogger. Everybody's a blogger now. Doc Ock's going to be a blogger. Sandman's going to be a blogger.
Everyone's a blogger now. He's just going to put sand in the keys, right? Ridiculous.
I'm the Sandman.
Yeah.
He'll put sand through the internet and it'll come out your monitor and make you go to sleep. We'll all be sitting there like, that's not how sand works. That's not how the internet works.
How does sand make you fall asleep?
Here's my question. How are they going to make New Mutants like really cool? Because to me, they always seem like the kid X-Men. Like, that title's okay. You know, it never seemed like big or anything, you know? But I guess they're going to have like Ileana in there and stuff. Like, Ileana, you know? I wonder if they're going to have Kitty Pryde. I don't know about that.
Well, they had Kitty Pryde in there.
They did, but, you know.
He's played by what's-her-face.
Yeah. I mean, in New Mutants and stuff.
She's played by what's-her-face. What the hell's that girl's
Ellen
name?
Page.
Yeah, you know. Lingering something.
Or will they be New Mutants when Cable was there with Feral and Shatterstar?
Yeah, that was before X-Force happened.
Yeah.
They could all be drawn in Rob Liefeld style. That'd be great.
Oh God, that was Liefeld days.
Hey, as long as they don't make up any more horrible timepiece anomalies like Jubilee.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Jubilee was like every, like, just from the shades on the top to the shooting fireworks.
What?
Yellow trench coat shit.
You don't like Jubilee's yellow coat?
No, like everything about like the
raincoat
jean shorts. Like, let's take every bad early '90s stereotype and just form it into a character. Like, Jubilee is just as guilty as anything Rob Liefeld did as like being dated.
Why was she running around with a raincoat? You're right about that. I never thought about that.
A yellow raincoat.
A raincoat, fucking Daisy Dukes, and like shades of like weird spiked black hair, and she shot fireworks out of her hands. Like, the fuck is that?
How was she any cooler? How was she any cooler than Dazzler?
That's true, but people.
That's not a good thing. Jubilee didn't do jack shit. That's what at least fucking entertain people.
I think there was a couple times even where Jubilee, like, there's like a bad guy, Jubilee comes out, she's like, fireworks, and they're like, ah!
That's annoying.
If you quit that.
I'm blinded.
Yeah, you never hear anyone go, Mr. Sinister is coming to get us. Get Jubilee. No one's ever going to say that.
They're like, the fireworks. This is worse than when Sandman put me to sleep when I was updating my Tumblr.
Has anybody ever had a like a 4th of July sparkler get too close to them? You're just like, it's uncomfortable. It burns a little bit. That's
Jubilee.
Worse than
That's Jubilee's power.
Don't! You might get one in my eye.
Oh man!
How dare you?
I wonder if they will throw Jubilee in there.
It's like, no, it's my worst nightmare, Jubilee.
Here's one that's even more useless, and he was a member of New Mutants. Doug Ramsey. His ability was to, speak any language. Yeah, that's useful.
Language man.
That's right. That was his mutant ability.
So he's even more useless than Jubilee. He was going to talk Apocalypse to death.
Hey, listen.
No, okay. At least that guy's a plot device. At least when you're like, we need to go to this like weird village in the middle of Africa that's never been explored before.
He's a plot device. He's useful when you go to another galaxy. It's like, okay, Douglock, we need you now.
Yeah. So there's like 2 instances where he can be useful. Name me one that Jubilee is useful.
That is true.
Her power can be negated by a folding chair. A guy with a folding chair can beat Jubilee.
I just thought of something horrible. You know how she can be useful? They go into like a village or something. Like, I will only talk to you how to stop the bad guy if you let me have sex with the Asian girl. Like, that's the only way she'll be useful,
It automatically goes there, huh, Tony?
Hey, we haven't had any of those instances in this episode. I had to bring it there.
Well, no, also, like, you're about to have the Macy's 4th of July thing and the barges sink for some reason. Just put her on a barge and have her entertain the city with fireworks.
4th of July. All of our fireworks have gotten wet. What will we do?
Get Jubilee. That's it.
We have the perfect ruse for you, Jubilee. You need to do the 4th of July fireworks show. Great!
But just remember, since this is the Marvel Universe, just tell everyone she got her powers by accident. If they know she's a mutant, no one's going to put her up. Yeah, they're going to throw rocks at her.
No,
How'd you
they
get
need to be like, Jubilee, there are birds congregating in the courtyard. We need you to disperse them.
Yeah. So how did you get your powers? Were you born with them? No. You're, okay, then. Go ahead.
They fell in a vat of chemicals at a firework factory.
They could easily, there's, for most of the X-Men, there's actually those weird origins that kind of can go either way. Like Cyclops has that one bit of origin where it's like, oh, we're mutants, but we used to live near this nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man. All right, let's move on. So DC, I mean Warner Bros. I guess you could say them. They released trailers for Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. What I found interesting about both these trailers is they don't have the tone of the movies. They have actual fun in them. You watch these shows, I'm like, hey, this looks cool. I want to check this out.
There is definitely differing messages between the two departments in the and Warner Brothers. The guys who are actually making the shows as opposed to the guys making the movies. The guys making the movies want to make, dark, gritty movies with, stuff like that. And then, the shows kind of, they're not like, well, we do comic book shows. Why the fuck aren't we doing comic book shows?
Yeah, they're going full on. Like even Supergirl's like, okay, that's a Supergirl ass show. She's flying, lifting up planes and all that other shit. By the way, I find it funny that people. Okay, what was it? I didn't see it, but last week, SNL Saturday Night Live, they did a parody, right? It's like, hey, what would it be if Black Widow got her own show? And it was like the most like cliche TV shit possible, right? Then they released a Supergirl thing, and everybody was like, wait. This is like the Scarlet Witch, the Black Widow thing, but it's not a parody. It's real.
Yeah, well, it had the same elements where she worked for the Devil Wears Prada boss, bitchy woman, and she had a shitty job.
Ally McBeal, by the way.
And Supergirl, like, that's the plot. Like, she has a shitty job where she gets coffee for this horrible boss, and, she lives in an apartment that's, like, the size of a warehouse that she couldn't possibly afford. With
in Los Angeles, by the way.
Yeah, and all this stuff. It's like, oh, she can't talk to boys because they're so hot, and whatever. It's like, are you serious? This is what's happening? And then like it transitioned. Then the second half of the trailer actually became good because when she got on the plane and actually did superhero stuff, I was like, okay, now that's cool.
Yeah, and then funny thing, today they released a trailer that's just the last half. Where it's just the crazy action. And a little bit more action, too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were just like, what's up with this first half? It's like, first of all, like, really, she has all those powers, and she's getting Starbucks for this woman. She would have vaporized her in, like, the second day at work. She would be like, gee, I wish someone would save me from this horrible job. No, you're a Kryptonian on Earth. You can save yourself from this job.
That's a good point. By the way, Jimmy Olsen's big and black now. That was interesting.
What was Jimmy Olsen before?
He's a little white kid.
No, I mean he wasn't in the
Man of Steel.
The Man of Steel, was he?
Yeah, no, he was a woman in that one, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He was a woman in Man of Steel. They replaced him with a woman.
So they just negated the whole that.
No, the TV universe, I don't think, in the movie universe, I don't think they exist. Because look at Arrow and Flash and what they're doing with Dawn of Justice. Like,
I just find it funny. It's like, oh, you took this picture? Like, yeah, bitch, I'm Jimmy Olsen.
Okay, here's my question. Why did they make Jimmy Olsen the big black guy? Like, just in
diversity.
Well, just in speaking of in terms of tone of character, like, aren't there plenty of other people you could have made a big black guy? Because I hate to sound stereotypical here, but generally big black guys could be a little intimidating to a lot of people. So maybe put that in a character that's supposed to be intimidating a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe the fucking editor and not fucking Jimmy. Like, Jimmy is supposed to be, like, negatable. He's almost a Peter Parker kind of thing.
You know what it is? I don't think the race thing even matters. It's the fact that he's this big, handsome dude. It's like Jimmy Olsen that's super nerd. You
notice when he introduced himself in the trailer, she was just, like, speechless. Like, she just got dumbfounded. It was like,
panties got wet. Yeah, it's like
Jimmy Olsen, he's a big, confident black guy. Like, it's... I guess if you had a little awkward black guy, like, yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the race, I guess. It's just.
I know. And then he took the only
doesn't,
picture, I guess,
yeah.
of Superman, and she was like, "Wow, you actually got a picture of him?" And he's like, "That's right, motherfucker." That picture.
Like, oh, by the way, that motherfucker posed for me.
That's
I know.
right. That's right. Jimmy Olsen got that picture. Of Superman.
Jimmy Olsen, get that picture, baby. But let me tell you a secret, though. I know Superman. He did that for me.
See that watch?
Yeah.
I can call him up anytime.
Oh
But I'm
my
not going to
God.
call him up anytime
Don't have the watch.
because he could never be on this show ever.
I know.
Oh, they showed up for a second. It's like
But
he's
his face is all in shadow, like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like,
a silhouette
oh,
of him, you know.
and half the trailers them, talking about Superman.
You know that it did remind. One thing about it is it reminded me of the original Supergirl movie, where
man.
essentially they spent most of the movies talking about Superman, but
That's right.
even showing pictures of Christopher Reeve on posters and stuff, but not actually having him show up in it. It felt the same way.
Yeah, but the action scenes actually look pretty good. They're getting better with that stuff on
I'm
TV
surprised. I'm surprised that they had her lift a plane. I'm surprised they didn't do like Lois and Clark.
Yeah, this
sort of
ain't
stuff.
1990s, man.
Where he's literally fighting the little cheesy villain of the week.
Yeah. No, she's fighting actual supervillains and
No,
stuff.
actually, he didn't fight any villains of the week.
No, he fought thugs.
He fought thugs. He just fought like bank robbers. And
He fought Intergang, like that was the whole plot. It's
That
like,
was-
Intergang, I know.
Yeah. Dean Cain, who's a cool Superman, that show was dumb. I'm sorry, like he just fought a bunch of thugs. Even Smallville, for as dumb as that show was, they at least fought villains with powers. So yeah, the show is fun. I'll check it out. Then Legends of Tomorrow, basically all the heroes that you saw in Flash and Arrow, they're all coming together and you're having a big show. That show's full on comic book. It's like
we can't call this. You know what that show's called? You know what that show should be?
We
really
can't
called?
be
We
the
can't
Justice
call this
League.
Justice League.
Dude, they had a big giant robot in this. I'm sold. That's all I need, man. They had guys with laser guns and a robot. Okay, I'm there. I'm good. Brett, you were sighing though. What's going on?
Not the Justice League.
I feel with Brett, because I just watched it now, and I'm like, like I just came off Avengers, Ultron, and then it's like this all just feels a bit too, like, hey, we can do this too, you guys. Hey, look at us, we're relevant,
This is not a Hulkbuster.
It feels like shitty Avengers.
Yeah, I think the part that really derails it was when they introduced the Atom and he comes in like Iron Man. It's like, oh, we have our billionaire blow. I'm like, oh shit, like really.
By the way, I can tell you guys. Yeah, I can tell you guys.
He comes in and he says, "I am not Iron Man."
Yeah, I can tell you guys haven't been watching Flash or Arrow this entire season because they've been building up. But yeah, when Brandon Roth premiered, in Arrow, I was like, so he's Iron Man, like he's a billionaire and he has a power suit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if he would have been original, Adam and shrunk, okay, which he does in the end of this trailer, which is good. But I was like, wait, unless you shrink, you're not freaking Adam. You're just Iron Man. You're just like a not evil Iron Man, basically.
I am not Iron Man.
Yeah, and they brought White Canary back from the dead. Lazarus Pits will do that for you. Very, very healthy.
The Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, well, they do have their Hulk. It's just Firestorm,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah,
I thought that.
Is it me, or does this look like, like somebody being like, all those guys that you like in those cheap-ass cheese dick WB shows that we've been producing lately? Well, we've paired them up with a bunch of B-team characters that you know from some comic books you've read and most likely any DC game that you've played, and put them all in a very high-budget environment with a story very similar to Avengers. What do you motherfuckers say?
Yeah.
My response is like,
Yeah. The proper response. Everybody's loving it because those shows are actually very popular now.
I liked it until I saw Daredevil.
Yeah, well, Daredevil's a whole other thing, man. You can't compare things to Daredevil because if you do that, then everything else is going to be sour and bitter and nasty.
Oh man, Daredevil.
Daredevil kills everything.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I got so fucking sick of the Arrow. Like it's just too cheese dick. It's not even. See, that's the thing. I fucking like Green Arrow, and that motherfucker is not Green Arrow. Like, Green Arrow is supposed to be a smartass. He's supposed to be kind of Robin Hoodie. I don't know what this mopey ass dipshit in a hood is.
He's Batman.
He's shitty Batman. They own Batman, and they're still making shitty ripoffs of it. Like, Jesus fucking Christ!
You know, guys.
Can I get one different character? Just one. Maybe that's why I'm so excited for this Deadpool movie. Maybe somebody who's like, I don't know, that makes a smart-ass comment when punching somebody in the face. I'm fucking sick of Christopher Nolan bullshit.
I'm Batman.
All right,
I'm not Batman.
Everyone's Batman. Just how like every game is becoming essentially Batman, where like you play an anti-hero / bad guy who hates everyone and everything and just mopey all the time. Like we're all heading towards that Batman singularity, where like every game or every movie just becomes Batman.
Darkness.
Remember when we used to make fun of Cloud Stripe about this kind of shit? Like, this ass motherfucker just sits there in his own head all the time, and everybody else has to do all the shit that fucking matters.
Yeah, you know, I think that's why people like Flash, because he's like, hey, I have superpowers, and this is cool. I like this. He's not like, you know.
Powers. The powers were given to me. The
powers are a curse. Fuck yourself.
But yeah, the only new person in this cast is Hawkgirl. All the other ones have already been on the other shows.
Is she actually gonna fly?
They said she. It's funny that they're like, oh, she has wings, but you didn't see her have wings.
We've seen. Well, I've seen someone flying. I don't know whether or not that was her, and I did see wings. Yeah, so I am inclined to think that was her.
I guess she's not going to be wearing wings all the time. She's going to have convenient wings.
Yes. By the way, I'm happy that there's a freaking Latina in this series. You know, it's like they got black superheroes, but where's the Latinos? We finally got one. Well, thank you.
Who is it?
Hawkgirl. She's Latina.
Oh.
So.
I don't know the name of the actress.
Okay. Is that real? I mean, what is her name? But I mean, it's like she's played by a Latina actress. But
that's what I'm saying. We got somebody in there, man.
So was fucking Chakotay, and he was a fucking Native American. Come on, man. Unless her name is something
you're right, though.
like...
You see what happens, though. They get a Latina, but she's an alien.
Yeah, she's an alien.
No, they're doing past lives Hawkgirl. They're not doing the Thanagarian.
They're not doing Thanagarian.
No, they're doing Egyptian past life Princess Hawkgirl, I think.
I did like version. Maybe that was the greatest thing of the episode. You were hey, not Chakotay.
Come on, man. Really, the only Hispanic guy in fucking space is played by a Native American guy. Come on, man. Seriously.
Oh man.
What personality are they going with the hot girl?
I don't know.
She didn't even speak the whole trailer.
Yeah, I know. Like I always like the like dangerously aggressive hot girl. Like hot girl always. I like hot girl because she kind of struck me as the Leroy Jenkins of the superhero crowd.
Yeah, just get in there, man.
Yeah, she just fucking gets in there and hits stuff, and it's a great attitude to have. I hope that they maintain that.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me add something else for Voyager. The other Latin person in Voyager was half fucking Klingon.
Yeah, Torres, right?
Yeah. Torres, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yo, man, they can't have the real us, man. We're too real. Gotta do this for aliens, man. Oh, man. But anyway, I finally found a replacement for Gotham. I'm done with that fucking show. That thing is bullshit, man.
You're like, Gotham. I'm good with Gotham.
Dude, you know what? Oh, wait. I was gonna spoil it, but then Brian's gonna give me that, speech.
But you're still watching Arrow.
But
I like Arrow. Remember, Brett. I don't like Green Arrow from the comics. I like the TV version of him. I don't like that loudmouth liberal guy. He annoys me.
I don't like the loudmouth liberal guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a very succinct way to put it.
I don't like him. So yeah, Gotham. They killed one character. I'm like, but he's alive when Batman's around. What? You can't just. I'm done. Like that was my whole reaction. Like, fuck
so
this.
Now you're done. I was done the second that they said the premise. Oh,
when they announced it, I was done.
I think it was an abuse. Yeah, I think it was a abusive relationship type thing. It's like you stick around because there's always like, oh, he's actually a good person sometimes. He beats me up, a lot, but there's some good in there. I think it was that because whenever it just focused on, it's like whenever it focused on, the original premise of the show was Jim Gordon in early Gotham stopping crime. That was the original premise. Then they're like, let's throw Batman shit in there and fuck the whole show up. So whenever it did focus on Gordon trying to take down the mob, it was great. But all that other shit, and the show is very unique looking because it takes place in New York, but they filtrate around, and it kind of has a weird Tim Burton vibe, which I like. I like the whole aesthetic of it, but they're just taking too many liberties with this shit, you know. And that was the final liberty too much. Where he's like, "You're gonna kill this guy? I'm done. Fuck this. It's stupid."
He'll be back. Don't worry about that.
No, so I'll watch Supergirl that because it comes out at the same time as Batman, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
they're going against themselves.
Warner Brothers doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
It has nothing to do with Warner Brothers knowing what the fuck they do. Warner Brothers sells products, sells
Like
shows.
Marvel used to, yeah.
Yes, so that's what they do. So they make shows and then channels buy them. That's the way it works. So it doesn't matter if they're going against each other or something like that. They're just creating the product, and these channels are purchasing them.
By the way, Pores went out for Constantine, man. That was like fucking Gotham gets renewed for a second season, and Constantine, which was a better show by far, just gets canceled. And the funny thing is, Constantine had way more ratings than Arrow or Flash, but since NBC is stricter with the ratings, they're like, nope, you're done. If you don't reach 2 million, we don't care about you. Meanwhile,
I really want to see Sci-Fi Channel pick that one up. Seriously.
No, I want Netflix to pick that up.
No, just put Netflix. Then it could go crazy.
Or Netflix, that'd be even better. I mean, it could get Hemlock Grove crazy with all that blood.
Sci-Fi Channel already had their Constantine. It was called the Dresden Files.
Oh man, that was terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of the Dresden Files. I love the books, but the show was shitty. And here's the funny thing: Dresden, he's on Arrow. He's the freaking commissioner guy, which is crazy. I'm like, wait, that's Dresden.
The whole conversation fucking hurts.
Oh shit!
Brian, how about that Age of Ultron, huh, buddy?
I'm just sat here just waiting for Martian Manhunter to appear. I'm like,
I'm the Martian Manhunter.
The second that he appears, then I'll look back into DC because, to me, that is the only instant character.
Hey, he's gonna show up in that Legends of Tomorrow show. I'll let you know.
What they should. You know what they should do? Just fuck with people and just make a Martian Manhunter detective show.
Yes.
For most of the show, he remains.
He's John Jones, right?
He remembers. He remains in human form throughout most of the show, and then when things get crazy, he becomes the Manhunter.
He's raw. Let me ask you this: which of the two ways they're going to go with Legends of Tomorrow? Are they going to reintroduce characters from a series that you've been following anyway, or are they just going to skip over that and assume that you've been watching 2 seasons of a show on WB?
Yeah, that's exactly what
I mean. They're skipping that. Yeah,
they're skipping all that shit. I mean, that's what they do with Flash and Arrow. Like if you notice, was it Arrow? He will get an upgrade in his own show, and you'll be like, okay, he has an upgrade to his shit. But if you watch Flash before that, you see where he got the upgrade. They're very intermingled, so I'm assuming this is going to be the same thing. You have to watch each show to know what the hell's going on.
Arrow gets upgrades. What is this, God of War? It's like, I've solved the puzzle.
Yeah, if you were just watching Arrow by yourself, right, and you'd be like, hey, why does Laurel have Black Canary, sonic powers? But in the Flash episode before that, the guys in Arrow is like, hey, here you go, I built this for you. So they're very, intermingled and stuff. So yeah, they're not gonna do a whole origin story on every character. We already saw the origin stories. They're in the other fucking shows. Watch those. That's what they expect. Just like Avengers, they didn't give you origins of those guys. They just threw you in there. Same thing.
They gave you Green Arrow. Hawkeye origin, somewhat.
He
gave you.
I gotta say, I appreciated it in this one. I was on the edge of my seat about to get pissed when Hawkeye was about to get mind control. Then he's like,
that, right?
I was like, fucking.
I did that already.
I was gonna get so pissed. I was like, oh god, David, he's a puppet in this movie too. Son of a bastard. Why do they ruin everybody with a bow and arrow?
Then he was like, nah, I did that. I didn't like it.
Okay, I have one question for you guys. I hate to derail the conversation, but when they the Infinity
hate to derail the conversation.
He's bringing it back to Marvel. He's like, let's go to the good side.
We are
about to go to Marvel, but say your thing. I almost forgot about. I was about to wrap the show up without the most important story. Holy shit! But anyway, Brett, keep it succinct, please.
The Infinity Stones that came out that you saw in Age of Ultron. The one came out of Loki's spoiler alert.
Oh, shit.
The one came out of Loki's scepter, and the other one was the one we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. There was a red one that materialized out of some kind of liquid, and then there was a
the Aether
cube. Have they addressed those in any of the movies, or is that just
the Dark World? The Aether was in Thor: The Dark World, and the cube was in the first Avengers.
Yep.
Yeah, the
It was in the
Tesseract.
first Avengers,
Remember?
and it was
Captain America.
It was in
the
Captain
first Captain America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Tesseract. Yeah, it was in the previous movies. Yeah, all those have already been established.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that Thor movie. There might be a Thor movie I haven't seen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, the second
the-
one. Yeah.
Yeah, they addressed it there, but it's very weakly handled because they don't really explain what it does. They just say, "Hey, this exists now." And I actually didn't know that it was an Infinity Stone until I seen it in Guarded. I'm like, "Oh shit, that was a stone!" Like, oh Jesus. But Brett, do you want to know like a cool theory about
Yes.
the Infinity Stones?
Yes, I like this one.
Well, this is just a theory that people have said. I don't know whether this is true, but so far it's working out to be like making sense. Apparently, the containers for the Infinity Stones, they spell out the name Thanos. So we have T for Tesseract.
We've talked about this.
Okay, break it down for everybody.
Okay, we have T for Tesseract. We have A for Aether. We have O for Orb and S for Scepter. So there's only the H and the N left, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So if the next container starts with an H or an N,
Or an N?
then you know. Yeah. Little subtle thing in there.
Mind blown. You know, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I had one more question, and this is there because there were only like 3 things in this that I was like, wait a minute, what?
Oh, hold on, I need to throw this in there. Here's the popular theory right now. N, the necklace of Agamotto. That's going to be the other container.
Necklace of Agamotto.
All right, okay, go ahead, Brett.
Does Ultron have telekinetic powers?
I don't believe
No,
so.
not
I
really.
was
He was
so.
throwing chunks of rock with his mind in that movie.
Oh
What
yeah,
was
that
this?
was in Age of Ultron. Yeah, he was throwing like I'm assuming like he was just pushing like maybe wires under the the.
No, he literally like took something and went and moved it around.
No, I know what Brett was talking about because I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Which scene is this?
In Seoul, it was in Seoul, right? In Korea. Like during the car chase
No,
scene?
it was on the
On the highway, right?
the chunk of land that he picked up that he was turning into a meteor. There was multiple times which he was hurling. I think it was a Black Widow, maybe.
Yeah, but he did it in Korea too. He was like hurling rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
My assumption is that for some odd reason he has magnetic powers because that's how he managed to get that one scene in the ship where he managed to pull Iron Man towards him. I'm assuming that he has some sort of magnetic pull thing. I don't know how it works, but
Well, because he has the repulsor rays. Repulsors can just be reversed to attract.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very strange.
am Iron Man.
All right. So last story. I can't believe I almost forgot this. So we have a Spider-Man, and it's somebody that I said should be Spider-Man when I saw his movie Ender's Game. So Ender, what do you call him, Manny? Ender Spider or something?
Enderman.
But Manny, remember after I was like, hey, he would make a good Peter Parker.
Yeah, I was cool with that. I mean, some people had some issues with the way he played Ender, but I think the way Ender was supposed to be was he's a little devoid of emotion. I think the kid could do a good job. I thought he did a pretty decent job in Ender's Game.
Can we get Harrison Ford to be Uncle Ben then?
Yes.
I mean Peter.
Hey, Peter. With great power comes great.
No, the takeaway from this is Marvel confirmed it. Civil War, that he's going to premiere in Civil War. Right now, people were just speculating that he was going to be in Civil War. Or heavy hints.
I think one thing though, they need to get the Jonah Jameson from the Maguire ones.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic.
I mean,
Spider-Man.
You see, he was probably the best the best version of that character.
You mean the only one that existed? He didn't exist.
Well, I mean, there's the cartoons too.
Oh yeah, he was pretty good too, though.
He's like one of the few actors besides Robert Downey Jr. You're like he was J. Jonah Jameson, right?
Yeah, he did it.
He's fucking perfect. Like he made that character.
Cave
Spider-Man.
Cave Johnson, man.
Cave
Johnson. No, yeah, he was. I think if I'm hoping that Marvel's not going to be a bitch about it. I'm like, yeah, no, we're going to recast it.
He was in the Maguire movie with the pig.
Hey, he's the one character that I'd be okay with them randomly turning into a black guy for demographic purposes.
Yeah, that'd be great, an angry black guy.
Yeah,
That's
like you
not
could
bad.
turn him into an angry black guy with a flat top and a mustache. Like you could totally do that.
Awesome.
He could look like the same character, just a black version of that character. That would be fucking great.
Man, Spider-Man ain't nothing but a punk ass bitch.
Just get, what's his Idris Elba, get Himdall to play J. Jonah Jameson.
Hamdu, what are you doing here?
What you talking about? I'm trying to get me Spider-Man.
No, you just give him a mustache and some distinguished gray, and he's good. He's J. Jonah Jameson.
He kind of already has distinguished gray, so it's all good.
No, you just
I'll tell you who. Danny Glover.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know if he can do intense.
Danny Glover could get kind of intense though.
I don't know if he can do intense like that, like over the top intense.
Yo, man, ain't you see Predator 2?
No,
he wasn't that intense.
No, he wasn't. His acting is always like, well, we gotta go here, and then we gotta do this. It's not very. I never see him yelling. The only time you ever see him yelling is like, Riggs. No.
Oh, fantastic! By the way, Manny says we're here because I couldn't do it right. Can you do the old man voice for Brett? That guy, the guy who was dying.
That's what it was.
So Brett, imagine during that pivotal scene, you hear that.
Yeah, that's what happened. At a certain point this is for you people who didn't watch our spoiler alert. At a certain point in time, when we saw Age of Ultron together, when this certain thing happens, this random noise comes out of the audience. We thought it was from the movie, and it just sounded like that. And we're thinking, oh my God, what's that? And then we hear it again, and it's literally this old man in a row ahead of us, I guess moaning, or I don't know what he was doing.
He was upset that his favorite character,
Yeah, I feel like. It sounded like the Sandman from fucking
from Ghostbusters. Yeah.
I'm the Sandman. The Sandman.
Oh man, we get silly on Throwdown.
I only want them to be happy.
I didn't come prepared for this reference.
Oh man, my head hurts now. I gotta stop this. All right, a couple of things before we end this up. Manny, we got a contest or something?
Yes, we do got a contest. We got some questions. For all you Metagear fans
actually, hold on. Give me a second here. Actually, let me set this up on Twitter. Actually, before we get to the thing, first of all, because I wrote this in the thing, announced the thing, and since it's technically 1 o'clock, happy birthday to Manny.
Hey!
Happy birthday to Manny.
Happy birthday, man.
I play the applause. I play the applause, but my shit ain't working. All right, let me tweet this out real quick. All right, contest time. What's going on? What you doing?
Well, as you all may know, if you've been looking at my Twitter, I was selling, the last bit of my Solid Zero art books. Well, I managed to keep one aside. Bam, which is
Bam.
And I'm also, and also have a couple of posters. So what I'm doing is we're going to have a little bit of a contest. You're going to answer some questions, right? And you'll be eligible to win this as well as...
Show me a little bit of what's inside, man.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you a little bit inside. There's a fat man right there. Some of that. So you can see that. Some Solid Snake action right there. Let's see what else we got here. I don't know. Here we go.
Solid Snake action.
Some Solid Snake action, some Big Boss action there.
Big Boss action too.
So yeah, there's a little bit of everything in here. Anyway, a little bit of everything.
Oh, Tony, now you're just ridiculously.
Anyway, yeah. So what we have is that we're gonna be giving one away if you guys answer some questions we set up. Here's
the thing though. You have until Sunday to answer them.
Yes, you have until our next show, which is Throw Down Your Questions, which comes out on Sunday. We record that on Sunday evening, and we will announce whoever the winner is. Of course, we'll contact you you and everything.
Wait, don't you mean winners?
Winners, yes, because we do have a second prize. You will get the Liquid Snake poster, which I don't have on me right now, unfortunately.
All right, so let's ask some questions, bro.
Yes. So take it away.
Actually, wait. Oh, I got to look at it. Here we go. I got him. you send them to me. Okay, so let's see. The first one is, what is Natasha Romanenko's frequency? All right.
Yeah.
we're getting in there, people. Yep. Remember, you can look all this shit up.
Yes, you can. A lot of the things they're pretty deep things, but a lot of them you can actually look up. Some of them are a little bit rare, but if you put it together, you're like, oh yeah, there we go. So yes, what is her frequency?
All right, next question is, what was the name of the company that released the first Metal Gear game on the NES? Think about that one.
Yes, that can definitely be a trick question right there.
Yes. All right, what is the alternate way to beat Psycho Mantis if you can't use the second controller ports?
What?
There's another way.
There is an alternate way to beat Psycho Mantis without the aid of the second controller port.
I got it. You turn off the PlayStation and walk away.
You throw it at a wall.
All right, the next question is, and you have to answer all of these, by the way, people. All right, how many ships were called Discovery in the Metal Gear Solid series? What kind of ships were they? All right, next one. Who created TX-55 Metal Gear? Raiden's Cyborg Body and the Snatcher Project. Ooh. Man, you get deep, man.
It's like,
how many questions do you have? Holy shit.
There's five.
Okay, you sure? Okay. Name 5 things not included in the HD remaster of Metal Gear Solid 3. Ho, ho, ho.
There is 5 things that are missing inside of that game. What are they?
No one's going to win this contest.
Well, here, listen. If here's the thing. I have talked about some of the things that are missing in it on the show a couple of times.
Yeah, just listen to a Throwdown and see if you can play.
You can also, you can listen to a couple of those, or you can, it's out there. You literally can do a search and you can pretty much find out what's in there, what's missing.
Yeah. All right. And the last one is was Snake versus Monkey minigame, Monkey Mask.
Don't say nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, that's it. Okay, good. I gave you 2 things, people. All right, and that's it. So answer all those questions. I'm going to write them down in the post and stuff so you can see them.
Yes.
And that's that. Good luck. And I don't know, how are we determining winners?
What we're going to do is we're going to do a combination of things. I mean, for those of you on the coalition, you probably can leave a little message on our coalition chat, chat. But the comments on our coalition thing. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, of course, you can just comment on the bottom, and that's where you go. So yeah, on the coalition on there, and we'll just look at the time codes to see who was first or who.
Oh, so it's first come first serve then?
Yeah, it's first come first serve because again you just like anything, you can pretty much do a search for almost every single answer on here. So it's like the first person who gets it gets the Solid Zero book right here. And a Metal Gear Rex poster, which is inside of the book as well. Hold on, it's this right here. For those of you, see,
nice.
You get that, and then for the second prize winner, you get a Liquid Snake, like propaganda poster. It's like join the Genome Army. It's that.
And there's no innuendo we can make about Liquid Snakes.
Snake.
Sorry, people.
We could about Snake Liquid, but not about Liquid Snake.
Hey, that is true. That is very true. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you for guys for watching and listening. Be sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. We got all the cool podcasts up there. The co-op, man. Don't check out those comments. They're crazy. They're almost as crazy as the last episode of Throwdown Your Questions. Holy shit. We got Baby in the Beard, obviously. They've revamped their show. They're more about just straight up comic books now. They're kind of leaving the show stuff behind. We take up the slack on that now. Nice of the Turntable, obviously, and Nerd Knots by Stephanie Burdo. Don't forget to follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube, and Twitter at Throwdown Show, Facebook, links on there, and all that good jazz. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and Tyler's joined by Emilio Lopez.
I knew
Snake!
Yes.
Do you like my sunglasses?
Oh, man. Brett Murdoch.
It's been real, people.
Brian Majoma.
The sunset, I missed it this time.
Oh, well.
I mean, the sunrise?
Yeah.
No, yeah, the sunrise. I don't even know what time it is anymore.
He doesn't know what's going on. He's lost. He doesn't know what's happening.
I'm off to bed, guys. See you.
Yeah, later. Chris Seeley.
Hey, good night or good morning, everyone.
Yes, and Rachel, if she's still around.
Bye, guys.
She's been
All right.
supervising like a cat.
Yeah, I supervise.
Sweet. All right, people. Later.
Bye bye.
Later, people.
Later, guys.
See ya.